So we are now in here. So let's bring up our information for Monster of the Week. Thank you for joining us, whoever is here right now. All right, so let's do a general intro for what we're doing here in this channel. So welcome to the Infernal Schoolhouse on Twitch, your portal to the shadows and secrets of an alternate reality, Texas in the 1990s. For newcomers, you're about to step into a world where the uncanny meets the iconic 90s, all through our gripping game, Texas Hell Country, played within the thrilling framework of the Monster of the Week system. Here at Infernal Schoolhouse, we delve deep into the tales of the supernatural investigation and heroic confrontations set against the eerie backdrop of Texas Hell Country. Our hunters navigate a world rife with dark mysteries and formidable creatures, where every choice carves their path of their story in this alternate universe. Within the Monster of the Week system guiding our adventures, expect heart-pounding sessions filled with strategic gameplay, character-driven storytelling, and moments that will have you clinging to the edge of your seat. So whether you're here for the nostalgia of the 90s, the allure of monster hunting, or the thrill of narrative exploration, the Infernal Schoolhouse welcomes you. So, let's go around and talk about who everyone is as a brief introduction, so that way we can all know who we all are. So let's start with Rosie A. Young.
I'm Rosie. I am chosen. I don't know that, and I am 12 years old. I am extremely preppy. My dad is here as well, and I will go ahead and let you get introduced to my dad, John.
We seem to have lost John for a moment, so we'll come back to John. So let's start with Jim.
Well, hello, everyone. My name's Jim Morris. I am a professional. I work for a secretive, shady organization, and I'm here for transportation and any sort of firearms or ballistics that may come in handy.
Excellent. How about Buddy Walker?
Hey, I am Buddy Walker, named after Buddy Holly, and um, I am the Flake. I'm the conspiracy theorist. I'm trying to see the bigger picture and how everything ties into um, everything else. And I kind of met these fools through Photo Booth.
Excellent. And what is Photo Booth exactly? And what is Photo Booth exactly there, buddy?
Photo Booth is our I I forgot the acronym, but it's our organization for monster hunting. Our clandestine organization for monster hunting.
I
Excellent.
could I could jump in there. Hi, I'm John Young. I'm a detective in his early to mid 40s. Was formerly a detective. Switched to kind of being more of a paranormal detective. I'm the father of Rosie, and Photo Booth stands for the Paranormal Hunters of the Texas Outland. It's just a ramshack building that turned into something that was way more than it should have been. So,
Excellent. And what's your profession, John?
I am a gumshoe by trade.
Very nice. And what about you, Jade?
Hi, I'm Jade. I guess we're in the 90s, so Adam's family's been around for a minute. I guess I'm kind of like Wednesday. It's like the stuff that bothers you and creeps you out doesn't bother or creep me out. Kind of seen some stuff. These guys are my friends. They've had my back. Everybody else just kind of thinks I'm weird and I guess spooky. But I have a team of people that I travel all over this country with, and we figure stuff out. And I'm happy to help where I can.
Excellent. So we're going to do just a quick little recap about what happened in our last session. So we are out in the Texas Hill Country, and I'll give it to you really quick here. So in an episode that kept us on the edge of our seats, the night of the werebear unfolded with unexpected twists at every turn. The saga began as John introduced his daughter Rosie to the team, sparking a lively debate on the risks of their extraordinary world to a young soul. The intrigue deepened when an cryptic parcel arrived from the sheriff of Lone Star Creek. The contents, a disturbing letter about strange animal tracks and a bear claw of such size it suggested a beast of myth. This mysterious lead propelled our team to Lone Star Creek in Jim's trusty armored Humvee, only to face a colossal bear in a shocking ambush that set a foreboding tone for your investigation. Dividing your efforts to solve the riddle, John, Jim, and Rosie confronted Clayton Johnson Jr., delving into a dark family legacy of a massive bear slain by his father, a tale that had morphed into a local legend. Meanwhile, Buddy and Jade uncovered a scene of carnage at the Miller farm, along with the Tonkawa totem, pointing to supernatural forces at work. The story reached a climax when the team returned to find Lone Star Creek in turmoil over the grim display of Elliot Johnson's body, with a haunting message demanding return of her son. It was here that they met Tasha, a Tonkawa werebear, whose tale of loss and revenge linked the night's horrors to a deep-rooted legacy of conflict and sorrow. In a nail-biting climax, the team embarked on a daring raid to rescue the werebear cub from the fortified Johnson estate. Their high-stakes operation led to a fierce battle, culminating in a poignant reunion between Tasha and her club. Their victory cries, a bittersweet echo of triumph and ancient grief. As the episode drew to a close, our heroes found themselves amid the chaos of their bold rescue, facing the daunting aftermath of their choices. With a stolen pickup and Jim's damaged Humvee as their escape, and the moral dilemmas of their actions looming large, the team stood at a crucial crossroads, pondering their next move in enigmatic Texas Hell Country. So, this is where we begin. We are still at the Johnson estate. You are still at nighttime and surrounded by a slew of bodies that have been essentially killed by the werebear that is no longer there. You do have a stolen truck. You do have people who are injured. So can I just get a count right now? Who is injured at the moment?
Jim is most definitely injured and unstable.
Excellent.
John has 2 harm.
Okay.
Jade has 1 harm.
All right. Anybody else? Very good. All right, so before we get started into the mystery, we know where we're at. I'm not going to give you necessarily, you know what, let's do a quick little filmic introduction so you might know what's coming up here in a moment. So, here's what you're seeing on the screen. The screen itself is engulfed in darkness, the only sound piercing the silence being the ominous fluttering of wings and sharp, unnerving screeches echoing in the void. As the suspense builds, the camera slowly fades back and revealing a startling close-up of a small, demonic hand, its skin bloodied and grotesque. Clutched within its gnarled fingers is an envelope, seemingly innocuous, yet charged with foreboding. The camera lingers just long enough for the audience to grasp the significance of this macabre delivery before fading black again. We are now at the beginning of our mystery. What would you like to do, anybody, if you have any before the mystery moves at the moment?
I would like to start with Destiny's Plaything and roll Weird to see if I can get a detail about what is upcoming.
Excellent. So just give that a roll for us there in the window.
All right, that will be a vague hint.
A vague hint. Okay. So your vague hint is going to be a sense and a smell that you can somehow just kind of get just out of reach of brimstone, sulfur, anger. You do see what seems to be some sort of red glowing light among dark trees within the forest.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
I would like to, obviously I sense something weird's going on. I want to see if I can get a premonition from this.
Okay, go for it.
Hang on a minute.
All right, what did you get? I'm still waiting for my roll 20 to show what that is.
I know, sorry. Hang on a second.
Oh, you're good. You haven't rolled yet. You're fine.
That is a success. It's an 11.
Excellent. And what does that mean for you as a character?
An 11 means that I get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen. I take +1 forward to prevent it from coming true and mark an experience if I stop it.
Excellent. All right. So even though the rest of you don't know what she is seeing, I will tell you that you see what looks like a grizzled older man outside of a cabin. He's outside having a cigar. Everything around him is quiet outside of the slight noise of insects around the lake that he's standing next to by the cabin. Suddenly, he is grabbed very viciously and aggressively and dragged away, and you do hear his scream as he seemingly sounds like he's being ripped apart.
God.
I'd like to activate my connect the dots.
Okay, go for it.
but I don't want to use anything yet.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and roll for that? And for people who may not be familiar with the flake, what does that do, by the way, that connect the dots?
At the beginning of each mystery, if you look for the whole patterns that current events might be part of, I can ask questions regarding what is happening, how it connects with past events, or what might happen next. There's a set of questions that I can ask at any point during the game to see a bigger pattern or to connect a few dots.
Excellent. And you are going to get 3 questions. Is that correct with that roll?
I think so.
Excellent. All right, so you're not going to use any of those right now. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, excellent. So before we figure out what our next moves are, I'm going to say that, Jim, your phone is ringing.
Definitely going to take my 90s brick phone up to my ear and push the button. Boop.
Excellent.
This is Jim.
Jim, your position has become compromised and the area has become too hot. We're hearing increased chatter from regional authorities around a stolen vehicle and a mutilated body in the middle of town. The rearmament delivery for tomorrow has been canceled. If you are currently in a situation that could compromise you any further, we recommend immediate departure to a safe house near Canyon Lake at these coordinates and stay there together until we can assess and rectify future ramifications. Should you choose to return to Wimberley, you will do so without the aid of the BGA. Hang up.
2 things Jim's going to do at this point. First, he's going to cough up a bubble of blood all over his tie and his shirt. Second, he's going to relay just the bare bones information that was received. Position's been compromised. It's time to move. I have coordinates. And also, Keeper, I would like to get out of the vehicle and just check the integrity of the vehicle to see if it's actually operational and I'm able to utilize it at this point.
All right, why don't you go ahead and give me a sharp roll to see if you can see what's going on with the vehicle at the moment.
Got it.
Okay, you succeeded. The vehicle does look like it could get out of town, but probably you have like one real good more drive out of this before it's going to need some work done.
I'm going to give Storm and Norman a pat on the hood, and I'm going to ask everybody, let's get in, people. Let's move. We've got to go.
Any chance, Jim, these coordinates are by a lake? Something weird's going to go down by a lake, and I feel like we need to be by a lake.
We can talk about that on the way, but I really advise that we move quickly.
All right, let's go.
Somebody else has to drive. He is bleeding out right now. Dad, can you drive for him?
Yeah, no, Jim, you are in no mood to be doing anything other than trying to patch yourself up. Why don't you try to see if you can't fix yourself, and I'll just leave the driving to me. I'm going to take the keys to the pickup truck, and I'm going to chuck them out in the middle of the desert as far as I can.
All right, so while you are discussing this to figure out what your next steps are, you do hear an ear-splitting explosion coming from the hills in the distance and see a column of flame and blue acrid smoke rise towards the sky. From the chaotic sight, you can make out what appears to be smaller figures, slightly larger than birds, seeming to hover around it. They twirl in circles before halting suddenly, floating on air for several eerie moments, and then appear to start flying in your direction rapidly.
We need to go.
At that point, I'm
Rosie's...
going to try to use Occult Confidential.
Okay.
First time in each mystery I observe a minion monster phenomenon, I can ask a question from the investigative mystery.
Let's do it.
All right. So let's see. I'm going to ask what happened here?
What happened here is from your own knowledge of the occult that you saw what appears to be a large explosion of hellfire from the horizon and what appears to be some sort of smaller demonic imps flying towards you.
All right, I will take that notion and say, y'all better get your ass in that car. We better get going.
Rosie pushes Jim towards the car And she's unzipping her backpack and pulling out a tiny thing of Band-Aids, like the old little tin Band-Aids out of the backpack that she has.
Han, you're gonna need some duct tape. That is not gonna hold together with Band-Aids. I love you like the sky is blue, but that is not gonna hold.
And as Jim is limping to the car, he's seeking to find his shotgun in the back. And also he's just going to lean his face towards Rosie and say, "How about one right here, little girl?"
You got it. She puts one right there, and she kisses it to make it feel better.
All right, now let's stop with this tomfoolery and get moving.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Buddy
gotta
grabs Jim under his shoulder and helps him into the car.
And Rosie starts climbing into the back of the car because she heard something about a shotgun and she knows her gun. So she goes back there to try to find the shotgun.
Jim, you got something I can navigate with? I'll tell John how to get there.
Yeah, I would assume that he has maybe some sort of key map book here. So you can probably pull that from underneath the seats there and navigate with that.
So, Jim, are you like in the back seat or something?
Yeah, I'm in the back seat, and I'm feeling more and more confident that Rosie's going to find the weapon. And then I will, I just have memorized the coordinates, and I'll just read them off to you and help you with a few simple instructions on how to locate them on that book.
All right, so I want to be sitting by John in shotgun and trying to navigate and get the hell out of town. Or, Johnson Estate.
Okay, excellent. So we have John driving right now. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so John, why don't you give me an act under pressure roll? That way that you were speeding out of here trying to keep your cool. All right, you succeed. Very good. So you are able to make a quick maneuver out of where it's currently parked and then bring it back down. How fast are you going right now, John?
Considering the nature of the car, I'm going to try to get to a point where, especially in Jim's condition, get to a point where it looks like it's smooth sailing. So I'm going to get it pointing in the right direction, and I'm going to start taking off as quickly as I can.
Okay. So we're going to say that you're going to maybe rush out of there maybe around 60 miles an hour or so. As you're doing so, those small creatures are getting very close to you. They are right now within maybe 100 yards or so of your vehicle as you're speeding down the road.
I'm going to try to read that situation.
Okay, go for it. And then Rosie will come to you after he makes this roll. All right, so go ahead and give me your question there. I believe you have more than one. Is that correct?
That is correct. So with my advanced success, I can hold 3. And so let's start. Let's see. What's the most vulnerable thing to me right now?
Most vulnerable thing is probably the engine of that vehicle. If it gets hit anymore, it's going to total that vehicle.
All right. What is the best way out of this situation?
Best way is to drive out of there as fast as you can.
All right. Are there any dangers that we haven't noticed yet?
From this current moment, there's nothing here that would indicate there's any more danger outside of this giant flock of imps flying towards you.
All right, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to turn to Jade and say, Jade, it sounds like you know where you're going. It sounds like Jim gave you a good clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you drive, and I'm going to start trying to take out these sons of bitches that are harrying us. So why don't you go ahead and take the wheel. I'm going to take out my 9mm. I'm going to start rolling down the window. I'm going to start leaning out, trying to have her take on while I can start looking back behind me.
All right, so let's pause there for a moment. Rosie, what were you going to say?
Provided the back of the vehicle is organized, which I would assume it is, since it is an issued vehicle, I find the shotgun. Jim, am I going to run into any locks on the guns?
No, I helped you unlock the safe, so you're good to go.
Okay.
You have access to both the weapon and the ammunition.
Okay, sounds good. So I hand up the shotgun to you, and I'm holding the shells so that I can give them to you when you want to reload.
All right. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to begin to load. And similar to John, I'm going to roll down the window and see if I can, kind of aim the shotgun up and out at where I think these little devils are coming from.
Okay, excellent. So I would say that with all the hubbub going on, Jim, and rushing into the car, getting the gun out, you are bleeding more, and you now take another part of harm because you're still unstable.
And so for everybody, that's 5 harm right now out of 7. And so Jim is in and out of consciousness at this point. May make people a little nervous as you see the barrel of the shotgun kind of just moving around, maybe up towards the ceiling and back a little bit as he's definitely
Rosie's gonna
almost
try to
losing
take
consciousness.
that from Jim because Rosie can shoot it. So Rosie's going to try to take it back.
I'm going to say that you take that out of his hand quite easily as he is getting weaker.
Yep.
Okay. I just push him to lay down on the bench.
And he's just going to fall and just kind of roll down onto the floor mats and just kind of groan.
She just pats you.
What's that, buddy?
I'm trying to figure out anything to do to keep Jim conscious and alive.
I want to take my 9mm that I have on my hip and I want to just pass it back real quick. I'm one arm in the steering wheel. John, is
Rosie,
your foot
grab
still
it.
on the gas? Is it like your foot, my arms, my eyes, and then my other hand is in back? Is that what we're doing
With the
here?
gun hanging out the window.
Yippee-ki-yay. Like, so I want to be like, here, take this. And I'm kind of just like waving it around the back seat. Like, buddy, here. And I'm trying to go 60 miles an hour.
Rosie grabs it because Buddy's trying to help Jim.
Okay, give it to Buddy. Give it to Buddy.
Okay, yeah, will do. She sets, how far away are the imps in, like, from us in terms of, like, range?
They're about 100 yards away right now. But
okay, so shotgun's irrelevant to me right now.
yes.
Pistol would be better, but not great.
You're a smart little girl being able to figure that out.
She's gonna, hey, my daddy trained me well. I put the shotgun down on the bench and I just check the pistol to make sure it is loaded and ready to shoot, and I face out the window. As soon as they're within range, I will kick some ass.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Jade give me an act under pressure roll to make sure that car is staying stable.
Oh, boy.
And then, Rosie, I'm going to let you roll to kick some ass here in a moment.
Can I roll to protect someone to help out Jim?
Let's see. It hasn't shown for me yet. Is it a 6 or below?
It is a 6.
Yeah.
It is a 6.
All right, so go ahead and mark that experience point for yourself. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let Buddy make a protect someone roll to grab the steering wheel that Jade has actually let go of because of all the blood that she's had on the steering wheel from Jim getting injured.
Okay. Mixed success.
Mixed success. Excellent. So let me bring up my screen.
You
now.
grab it with your foot.
All right, so you are able to grab onto it and hold onto it, but as part of this mixed success, you were not helping out with anything else. You were just desperately trying to keep this car going. So you're just kind of like stretched across the front
And from the
seats.
back, like
Yeah.
the back seat, just like
There's like 3 people in the front seat.
I'm still in the back. I'm just holding the wheel to make sure we don't
I'm
crash.
like against the window now, kind of like.
Wait, where's
Can't believe I lost control.
my dad then? Where's John?
I want to yell at John. You need to drive now. You need to drive.
Y'all
This
can't
isn't
drive
working
the
this way.
goddamn car. Get out of my way, and I'll just I'll jump back in, push Buddy across over the side, and just say, "You all take care of it. I'm just gonna keep it holding steady."
All right. So there's a loud sound of shrieking as these creatures are getting closer to you. So now they're within about 50 yards. So if you want, Rosie, you can probably fire off a round and roll to kick some ass to do so.
All right, 11. Success.
Nice.
Excellent. So you do, you have to pick your other item on the roll to kick some ass list here. So for those who are watching for the first time, whenever you roll high on roll to kick some ass, you get to do an extra thing in addition to kicking ass.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with inflict terrible harm, and I feel like we've established I'm a fairly decent shot, so it was like a headshot through an imp.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so you fire off a round, that imp explodes out of the back of its head and falls to the ground. There are other ones that come closer. As you see them, as they're getting closer, you do notice something strange. So why don't you give me a sharp roll, Rosie, since you're currently trying to shoot at them right now.
Yep.
Who the fuck taught this 9-year-old how to shoot?
My daddy, who makes me drive him home from the bar.
Oh, that makes sense.
Called responsible
I'm gonna-
parenting, jackass.
John, now I'm seeing why
no,
your
we're
wife
learning
took
so
her
much
away.
about you.
All right.
Mixed success.
Excellent. So you can't quite tell what it is, but you see something in its hand, and as you were looking around at all of the imps, it kind of like zooming out, you notice that all of them are holding the same thing.
Can I try to charm one?
Well, you cannot charm monsters in the game,
I
unfortunately.
cannot. Okay, I was not sure. Okay.
Hi.
Where, Jim, how awake are you?
Jim
Conscious?
is in and out, and really what he's doing now is just digging around in the floorboards looking for the first aid kit that he knows is down here somewhere.
Okay.
But he's bleeding pretty profusely.
Okay. I feel like that's going to really freak me out. And so I'm going to go down and I'm going to attempt to help out with that. Because there's a lot of blood.
Are we yet on any terrain where we can go faster than 60 miles an hour?
Well, you
'Cause these
are, but
things
you're
are
also
clearly
driving in a
flying
Hummer.
at-
Yeah.
With 3 people in the front seat.
So are we maxed out at this speed regardless of terrain?
I would say you're probably maxed out, and it is starting to get into some curves. So, John, why don't you give me another act under pressure roll here to stay, on the road.
Between the lines.
Jim, buddy, Jim, is there a tunnel that you know of?
Oh, just first aid kit. Be real good. Little girl, first aid kit.
No, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right, so you are able to stay on the road. You do accidentally kind of slip your hand off there and punch the shifter. No harm is done. It's more of a zero harm sort of thing, but it does kind of smart on your knuckles there as you're trying to
Son
keep
of
things
a bitch, how's Jim doing back there?
Not well.
Does anybody here have a first aid kit?
I'm digging around looking for the first aid kit in the back of the car. I'm sure with all the other stuff we
Buddy,
have.
it's right there. He has it. It's right there. It's right under him. Just grab it.
Sorry, he's covered. There's so much blood. I got it. I'm like desperately trying to like find gauze and bandage Jim to the best of my ability while keeping an eye on the things flying at us.
Okay, so
I'm going.
why don't you roll to
back
help
up.
out this time instead of act under pressure if you're going to try and put some on there. I'm going to say that you're doing a pretty good job because you're kind of a conspiracy weirdo. So let's just say that you're kind of holding it together, but give me that help out roll, please.
Failure.
Oh, Lord in heaven.
Okay, so
Roll again.
couple reminders here. You can use luck. I'm not advocating that you do because that is a permanent purchase of luck to try and change that. But also give yourself an experience point for that loss if you are not going to use a luck point.
Rosie's watching this and like maybe it's just slipping, the first aid is just slipping through everybody's hands and she is going to try to help with this because the amount of blood, and she's very attached to Jim now because he took her, when she asked for the Humvee, he just took her to the compound. So she is going to try to help out as well.
All right. So let's go ahead and do a help out. So here's what's going to happen. Now, I need Buddy to decide whether he's failing that roll or not.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I failed. I do have a question though. So the experience points, like, do they accumulate through all of the mysteries, or do we reset them each time?
You will reset them after you spend them. Once you get up to the full amount, which is 5, then you get an enhancement for your character.
Got it.
So, as part of your failure, you have thrown the first aid kit out of the window that Rosie was shooting out of on accident.
Just like squirts out of your hands.
Yeah. Like one of those things from the 90s that like kept going in on itself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh,
Buddy, you
Little
couldn't hit
slut
water if you
thing.
fell out of a boat.
Yeah, with the
Rosie
fish.
earmuffs.
oh.
All right, so as this is occurring, they are now within 10 yards of the car, getting closer
All right.
and closing in.
Rosie is putting so she puts the pistol down and grabs the shotgun back up and then attempts to kick ass again.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and roll to kick ass for me.
Success.
Excellent. Pick your other option there, please, to enhance your attack.
Let's see. Let's do we'll do terrible harm again.
Okay. So you fire off, it is buckshot, so you take out 3 of them as they fall down dead. One of them does close the gap and scratches you with its claws. You take 1 harm.
Can I, as that's happening, can I try to grab it?
You can grab it, yes. So what we're going to do, you are still going to take the harm, but
That's
then
fine.
you can act under pressure to try and grab his arm.
I specifically want to try to grab the thing in its hand because I
Gotcha.
noticed it earlier.
Oh, so you want to grab the
Okay.
thing in his hand, yes. So you
Yeah.
are going to take the 1 harm, but you are going to grab the thing in his hand. So go ahead and act under pressure to do that, since you just
Okay.
got clawed by a little filthy beast.
Oh, that's a fail.
All right, so you don't quite do it. What was that, buddy? You about to say something?
Oh, and in the meantime, I took Jade's 9mm that she handed back, and I took out my own, and I'm hanging out the window, both
You're
ablazing.
Tomb Raidering this.
I'm just hanging out. Since I clearly failed at helping Jim, so I might as well help everyone else. So I'll roll to kick some ass as well.
Okay, go ahead and do so.
Mixed success.
Okay. So here's what we're also going to do after I tell you this. So you do succeed, but you kind of have it pretty close inside of the car. So what I need John to do is give me an act under pressure roll because that gun just went off pretty close to his ear, and he is suddenly startled by that. So you do hit, you kill one of the imps, and the other imp right next to you closes in, claws you, you take 1 damage.
Can I try to do what Rosie did as well?
Yes, but you're still taking the 1 damage.
Yeah, totally cool.
All right, so you do succeed, John, again. This time you actually put it in a lower gear while you were trying to keep everything going, but you are able to quickly put it back. But you can tell that the car is not going to be able to take another low gear switch like that.
All right, so
Guys, we're not going to outdrive these things. Let's roll up the windows and hide from these things. Can they get in? Can they get in if the windows are rolled up?
So at this point, knowing that they're essentially already on us, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try to slowly bring the car. I'm going to actually try to decelerate. I'm not going to slam on the brakes knowing the position that John's in, knowing where we're at. But I do
Right.
think with them here, it's not going to make any difference. I'm not going to be able to shake them off, and I don't want to cause any more damage. So I'm actually going to try to get the car to close to a stop. Hopefully that'll help people focus a little bit more to be able to fix them. But my goal is as soon as I get it stopped, I'm instantly going to try to get to the back seat to try to stop Jim from bleeding out.
Okay, so here's what we're going to have happen here real fast. As you stop, okay, and I know you want to do the hand thing, so why don't you go ahead and give me the act under pressure thing to do that, and then I'm going to give you the next narrative bit that's going to come here.
All right.
It's like Stranger Things.
Oh, I failed.
You do
Cool.
fail,
Oh,
but what
sorry.
does happen is this creature is still alive, and it actually flies into the vehicle, and it drops the thing in its hand, and then flies back out again. Then the other creature that attacked Rosie does the same thing and flies back out again. Then another creature comes in and drops off the thing as well. Another creature comes in. After dozens of these have been coming in there, it's hard to see anything, but they're not attacking you. They're just dropping this thing off over and over and over again until they finally leave and turn around in the other direction. And you'll notice that at your feet is a pile of envelopes.
All right, well, I'm going to push him out of the way and instantly get to John. I'm going to rip the sleeve off of my shirt and try to get to a point where I'm going to try to diagnose where the bleeding is and help him out.
Does anybody want to open our mail while I drive us to the hospital?
I'll happily. Rosie, do you want to help me open some of these?
Sure. I feel like you probably like opening mail.
I don't mind it.
Okay.
I like solving mysteries. What's on the inside?
All right. I open one.
I
Buddy
open one as
opens
well.
one.
Okay, I'm going to show you what it says here. I'll show you in Roll20, but I'm going to read it to you. So what it's going to say, you notice it looks like an older parchment, really old, like almost like you're holding an antique sort of letter, right? And in there, it says, in the shadow of the moon's eclipse, beneath the gaze of stars unseen, the chosen's light emerges. But light casts shadows, and in those shadows, power stirs. Rosie, child of prophecy, your steps echo in the halls of destiny, drawing eyes that have watched through ages. You stand at the threshold, but the path is veiled in darkness. The gate swings on hinges wrought from secrets and blood. Know this, the flame that seeks to illuminate the night also beckons the tempest. I, Morax, have danced with the destinies unfulfilled and quenched flames that dared to pierce the darkness. Your ascent is a note in an ancient melody, one I have sought to silence. The infernal choir sings, and its chorus heralds your awakening. But be wary, for every hero's journey traverses the edge of a blade. Will you rise, or will you falter? The choice is yours, but the game is mine. Beware, for the path you tread is lined with the echoes of those who dared to dream, and in their whispers a warning. Not all that is lost yearns to be found.
I drop the
Do they know
envelope and
she's 10 years
stare mouth agape at Rosie. And I'm like, what the actual earmuffs? What the actual fuck is going on? How do these beasts know, John, how do these beasts know your daughter?
Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to make sure Jim doesn't die, please. I'll get to that in a second.
Rosie,
They
girl, you
call
gotta
her
be
by
real with me.
name.
How old are you really?
12?
Do you understand what that said?
Look,
No.
y'all are
Okay.
playing these games. This isn't funny right now. Jim is about to bleed out. Am I talking to myself? Am I deaf?
No, okay,
Hello,
no,
can you hear
I'll
me?
help. Okay,
Hello?
so Rosie goes into the back of the car and is looking for other first aid kit or other things that might be able to assist that she can give her dad because she does not want to piss him off.
Okay, so why don't we, let's just do a sharp roll, see if there's another first aid kit back there.
Okay, let's do...
I still think we're beyond the efforts of first aid, so I'm going until we find a clinic or a hospital or some emergency place of some sort that's open this time of night.
All right, so are we actually driving, or we stopped trying to stabilize him?
But we
I'm
had
still trying to
stopped.
stabilize him.
Okay. All right, so tell me how... So that was a failure, so you do not find another first aid kit. There is one of you, possibly, that could attempt to use some magic and stabilize this individual.
Hey, I know magic and also kung fu. All right. Hold
Now
on.
remember what
Do
happens.
you know magic?
Yeah, I know what happens. I get weird. I
I'm
get
trying not to
weird.
wish
You are
one
going to get
hand
weird,
shit
but
in the others.
what I am saying is what happens if you fail.
Terrible, terrible things. All right.
Do we all need to be stepping back right now? Do we need to give you some space?
Hang on. Let me see what I want to do here.
Buddy
Buddy
Lord in
steps
heaven,
out.
If Jim dies because you threw the fucking med kit out of the window, so help me God.
I didn't
You will be
throw
joining
it.
How else does
All
it go
right.
out the window?
Blood is slippery.
Yeah, and I got nearly shot in the head, but I still drove a car. It's not
So
hard.
So Jade,
I-
you can just make a weird roll for me, but you have to describe to me how you're attempting to stabilize him. You're not going to heal any of his hit points, or rather his harm, but you can.
I
attempt to
can use
stabilize
magic
him.
to heal one harm from an injury.
There you go.
Okay.
Buddy steps out the car to think and process.
So am I rolling weird or use my? I'm going to use my magic.
Which is using weird, yes.
Well, right, but just not like it's a specifically. There we go. Mixed success. Half
Excellent.
harm returned.
Very good. So half his harm is returned. So you have to choose whether you want to do the stabilization or the removal of the harm.
Removal of one harm.
He will still be unstable if you do that, which means he will continue to bleed out.
Well, right, but then that's hopefully within first aid kit territory until we get to.
We don't have a first aid kit.
Oh yeah, it flew out the window. Jesus Christ. Okay. No. Let's stabilize him then.
Okay. So you are able to hold your hand over his wound and it closes. He is still in extreme pain, but you may remove the unstable icon from your character sheet.
Done.
Oh, do you guys see my glowing hand?
All right, Jade. Now it is time. Do you wish to succumb to your magic, or do you wish to stop using it in this session?
Gonna stop using it. I need to keep my wits about me.
All right. So Jade's magic is no longer on the table. There's a weird fizzle around her, and it seems like she's just temporarily unavailable for magic.
Temporary closed for magic business.
All right, Jim. Jim, how you feeling?
Jim has a little bit of light in his eye, finally. And he becomes suddenly self-conscious of all the blood all over. And he's starting to use all these letters to try to like mop up the blood. And he's stuffing them over the wound in his shirt and trying to claw his way back up to the back seat and sit up and be lucid.
All right.
Brother, I hate to say you're not going to be able to get your deposit back on this car. I don't think it's worth trying to mop up at this point.
It might be a total loss at this
Now,
point.
do you happen to know your blood type off the top of your head?
O negative.
Oh, of course.
Does anybody have some orange slices?
All right.
He's going to get scurvy, bleeding out, really?
Okay, so here's where we are right now in the mystery. We have had an attack from imps who dropped off a bunch of letters. All those letters are identical. We have Jim near death, but is now stable. And you have coordinates to a safe house near a lake nearby.
I mean, I think we need to go to that safe house because I'm sure if it's a safe house, there's safe things in there, like maybe a first aid kit that's not out the window.
Yeah. That's all great. But can we talk for a minute how her hands were just glowing and there are letters addressed to you from demons? Like nobody else is. Am I alone
listen.
in this?
Okay, first of all, buddy, you're welcome. Saved our buddy over here, so you don't need to point at me with my... You're welcome. Also, yeah, I don't get why there's letters to a 12-year-old with, like, 9th grade words in them. But, yeah, Rosie, when we get to this cabin, I think we should have a conversation about the choices that you have in front of you, I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to have any conversation like that, it's going to be with me around. And
Obviously.
Buddy is somebody who easily could have made these letters. You know, it's just strange stuff happens. Just because they happen to all say the same thing, that doesn't mean anything.
Did you see the delivery guy?
Those weren't bats, John.
Dad, my name is on every single one of these.
Yeah, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. There's a lot of things going on at once. I think the important thing is we focus on the person that's bleeding out in the car.
Well, the bridge is like in like 5 minutes, though. So
let's go to that cabin place.
Yes, the safe house is probably where
I
we
just
head first.
We're going to the safe house by the lake. Earlier, guys, before we left Johnson Estate, it's just this image of this guy. He's smoking a cigar. He's outside a cabin. There's a lake, and then he gets dragged off. So our safe house, I just want you guys to know, might not be as safe as we're hoping. And I just know that unless it's a different lake and a different house. But there's some stuff, guys. There's some stuff that's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, but you guys also told me that Humvee was armored and literally something just ripped through it.
I thought we were in a stolen truck.
The common sense, you see that coming through, you can't teach that.
Well, quick question.
Yes.
Did we get into the Humvee and do this the whole time that maxed out at 60? Or were we in the stolen truck?
No, we're in the Humvee.
Cool.
Yes, indeed you are.
Keys to the truck got thrown into the abyss.
Yeah, I want to give ourselves as much of an advantage as we could.
Okay.
All right, so
stolen car on our...
Is our decision then to continue on to Canyon Lake where this safe house is? It's a couple hours drive from there.
Okay. I vote yes.
All right, so Jim is stable, so he's no longer bleeding out. He just needs time to recuperate. So.
Yeah, Jim's going to take a letter and be like, guys, I'm actually feeling a lot better. And he's going to wipe the sweat from his brow and just streak blood all across his forehead.
I'm going to use my...
Let's
Simba.
I'm going to use my connect the dots.
All right, go for it.
When and where will the next event occur?
I think that from what you can tell from these letters, from the vision that Jade told you about and everything else, is that the next event will occur wherever you are, no matter where that is.
Good news. We don't have to go find it.
All right, so what I'm going to do is the duffel bag that I brought with us as my to-go bag, I'm going to bring out a bottle of water, get out my rosary, pillow and blanket, and some mouthwash. And I'm going to have Jim rinse his mouth out because I imagine it's full of blood. And give him the pillow and the blanket and have him rest. I'm going to give him the rosary to hold on to in case he's assaulted or accosted by anything evil, and the towel just as, whatever. Also, I got some Marlboro Reds if you're interested. Don't know if you're a smoker.
I'll have one for now and one for later.
Who's driving?
I am.
Okay.
All right.
Apparently, I'm the only damn person that can hold on to a wheel.
Hey.
All right. I've done it my career.
Rosie's just like staring at the letter that she opened and is maybe starting to like say it out loud, probably somewhat close to where Jim has gotten himself up, but just like kind of like muttering it over and over again.
I'm going to take one of those letters. I'm just going to look at it before I get into the car.
I thought you were driving.
I am. Just give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you see
This
something
is like
about your daughter it's written somewhere?
Yeah, you can hold wheels and letters and, bust out a big phone while you're at it.
I'm just going to
close your eyes.
Letter and throw it out the window. Apparently, I don't need a moment to myself, so let's
There's
let's
like 3 dozen others.
Yeah.
Okay, no. You can text and drive, 90s version.
Oh, I mean, I had to do that for divorce papers. I had to sign those while I was on my way to a case.
All right, fair. Fair, that's true.
Okay, so Rosie goes, Dad, it literally does have my name. It's like right here. My name is in this letter.
No, I see that, babe, and we will cross that bridge when we have a moment. But as of right now, I'm just going to take this drive, and I'm going to enjoy. Jim, do you have a cassette deck in here?
I sure do. Just flip that panel down there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, I'm going to plug in some Steely Dan, and I'm just going to kind of ride this thing out. Crank the volume a little higher than normal just so that way you can kind of enjoy this. So.
All right.
Jim leans his bloody forehead on the window, rolls it down just a bit, and just takes a big drag on one of those cigarettes.
But do you ever read anything anywhere of chosen people? Yeah.
What?
I mean,
yeah.
other than Christ, obviously, because let's be honest. But anything?
I have actually. I've been. Sorry, I'm a little shook by everything that's been going on. In my research and everything else, I've actually been looking for. Well, Rosie, I've been looking for you.
What the hell did you
my
just
dad
tell me?
is not gonna like that.
Excuse me?
That doesn't.
I didn't. I didn't know that I was looking for her specifically. Just.
Do we have a pedo in the car? Do I need to pull this car over and
Hey!
have a conversation with you?
I was looking for the Chosen.
So let me get this straight. I'm going to guess you probably have a date, right? Some magical date that just lets you know there's something special.
John, eyes on the road, buddy. No, I mean John. All right, buddy. What? No, what were you saying, Rosie? It's fine. It's fine, sweetie. John, concentrate. But what?
Like
what do you mean?
In all of the chat rooms, there's been talk of this being that is supposed to it's somehow connected with everything else, but supposed to help save the world. And I've been trying to. I've been going on all these hunts with you guys, literally to find this being. Are we sure, Rosie? Are we sure it's you?
I don't know. And so Rosie's just starting to mess with her necklace again.
Careful with that, kiddo. Last time you cut yourself.
You mean she cut herself? It's a necklace. It doesn't do anything.
It cuts her.
You
Sharp.
Hun? There's nothing wrong with your necklace. It's just a necklace, right?
I don't know. I don't even remember where I got this one from.
It cut through the lock.
What are you talking about?
It cut through the lock with the bear.
I don't even remember what happened with that. I
just be careful with the necklace.
Okay.
Anyway, buddy, she's 12.
You have as much information as I do at the moment.
All right, so as this conversation is going on, you do kind of have some back and forth, more and more, trying to figure out what to do. When you do start to arrive on the outskirts of Canyon Lake, you do notice it is a small community, obviously some sort of little bed and breakfasts and places to go, and then you do go off of the outskirts of it, about 10 to 15 minutes out, closer to what appears to be just the edge of the lake, and then you do see a small cabin there. So let me bring up the cabin for you so you can see.
As we got close to the actual municipality, I would have shut off the radio or gone it down to really low volume so that way we didn't announce that we were coming.
Excellent. I know that you are a very wise person, John. So, all right.
Apparently not.
All right, everyone. Here is your cabin to take a look at.
Dad, it just looks exactly like what you wanted. I know we were on the creek and everything, but I know you always want to be on a lake. This is going to be so fun. And she jumps out of the car.
And Jaden, you do recognize this cabin from your vision.
Guys? Yeah. This is the place. The guy got dragged and was torn to shreds. I heard it. I saw it. Is there a smoke coming from that chimney? Is there lights on?
The lights are on, and as you do pull up, a man walks out of the cabin. He looks identical to what you saw in your vision.
I just want to suggest, Jim, I know this is our safe house, our safe coordinates. Number one, who was that call from? And can we just take this guy with? Is there another place you know of? This place just,
So
bad
Rosie's
things are going to happen here.
Not in the car.
I don't want to jump into this.
Rosie's not in the car.
If I remember correctly, the information we have is the next event is going to happen where we are. This is the instructions that I've been given by the agency. And if it's all the same to you, I would love to go in and perhaps lay down for a few minutes and maybe get my wounds more properly dressed.
And while you're talking, the gentleman kind of reaches inside of the door and then pulls out a small assault rifle and is kind of holding it, waiting to see what you're going to do.
Rosie, come back. Rose, come here. Stay with us.
No, they have a fire going inside.
Okay.
And at this
come
point,
back for now.
Rosie, man with a gun.
Jim pulls out his agency identification and slowly, with both hands up, in one hand the identification, walks and says, "The agency has instructed us to come here, my friend. We mean you no harm."
He looks at you and he says, "Jim, put your damn hands down."
My bad. I just got a little bit of a scratch here. I would love for you to take a look at.
I see that. Well, are the rest of your folks coming in here with us? I know it's pretty hot out there right now.
Yes, please.
I'd just like to suggest that once we go inside, we stay inside. We just need to stay inside. We're not taking any leisurely cigar breaks overlooking the moonlight. Speaking of, when is the next eclipse?
That's a good question. I don't remember there. Oh, you're looking for like an eclipse specifically because that wasn't in the vision. So.
No, it was in the note.
Ah, yes. That is a good question. I don't think you're going to know that offhand. And
maybe there's like an almanac in the cabin or something we can
might
check
be one
out.
in there, yeah, for sure.
This looks like a place to find a almanac.
Is it just cool? Like, I don't want to sign up for unnecessary trouble. We can handle it, but I don't want our new friend here, owner of this fine establishment where we're gonna camp out for a minute, to get dragged into the woods and devoured. So, can we just stay inside? Would that be okay? Good. So we're gonna stay inside. Is what I'm gonna just have to insist.
All right. So he waves you inside to come inside with him. Are you going to follow, or are you just going to stay in there and stare at him?
Yeah, if he knows Jim.
Was Rosie able to get to or into the door?
Yeah, I would say you were able to get to the door.
Okay. Does it open when I get there, like while they're still talking?
Yes, it does open.
Okay. All right. Can I see a kitchen?
There is a kitchen in there, yes. It's actually just a small, essentially like one floor cabin for the most part. You notice that there's kind of everything in the same room, almost like an efficiency apartment.
Okay. I go for the fridge to see what's in it.
Okay, there's all sorts of snacks in there. Let's see, we have some milk in there, some cheese, some ham slices, some Sunny D. So
Oh, she
this
got to Sunny D right away.
excellent. So are you just going to drink that out of the bottle, or are you getting a glass for that?
Oh, it's not an individual bottle. I guess it probably isn't a children's home. Okay, yeah, so that's fair. She goes to find a glass.
All right, so
And she'll grab multiple glasses. She's going to prep Sunny D for everybody because she thinks it's been stressful.
all right, so Rosie's there pouring a welcome Sunny D for everyone.
Now, Jim, would you mind introducing us to this fine fellow of yours?
So
Yeah,
Jim doesn't actually know him, but he knows Jim.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, it's
the safe houses are populated by a rotating group of people, but I really feel confident we can trust this gentleman.
Now, do you have code names? Do you not like to use first names? What are we doing?
Yeah, my code name is Hank.
Ah, all right. Well, my code name is John.
Well, welcome in. Why don't you come in here and close the door so we can have a conversation?
You wouldn't happen to have vodka in there, would you?
Oh, yeah, I do.
You have an almanac?
I do. But you should probably come in here and close that door first.
All right.
You got a first aid kit?
Yes. But you should come in
Perfect.
first and close the door.
Get inside the cabin. All
I'm in. I'm not
We're
picking
all
up the
in.
first aid kit this time. Somebody else is taking care of that.
All right, so he goes over, he takes a sip of the Sunny D that Rosie has poured, and then he goes over to what looks like a closet door at the back of the cabin, opens it, and presses a little button that's hidden, and it seems like it opens up into some sort of circular staircase going down.
It's the panic room.
I think we should all probably go this way for a little bit.
Jim starts walking that way.
Buddy's skeptical.
Buddy, get your ass down there or I will make you go down there.
Oh, shit. Is the almanac up here? Or
Well, let's talk about what you're looking for when we get down there first.
I'm looking for an almanac. So
I know.
it's a book.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of things downstairs.
Is an almanac among them?
Yes.
Hanky Panky, can you tell us what's going on before we go anywhere?
I just don't know why you're here with all the questions when you're clearly trying to hide right now from law enforcement whatever fracas you got into back there in that other town. I'm trying to get you somewhere safe right now so we can talk down there, or we can sit up here and wait for somebody to roll up and they notice that you pulled up here in that vehicle.
And you
All
can
right,
all
all
hear
right.
Jim's footsteps going down the stairs right now.
Okay, after you, sir.
Rosie grabs the Sunny D big bottle and her glass and keeps going.
All
Like
right.
father, like daughter.
Yeah.
So as you go down the stairs, you do hear a light turn on, like a fluorescent hum, as big lights go on all around you. There is what seems to be a large, like black sort of, almost looks like a submarine door sort of thing with the latch on it, and he opens it up. Inside of there is a kind of a similar sort of layout of the cabin, except it's all in concrete and metal bunks, and it's got equipment cages, books, and it looks like some sort of red phone that dials somewhere. But he beckons you to come inside so we can continue this conversation.
All right, I look around for a minute and then I just take a seat on a lower bunk where I can see most of the room.
Excellent. So you do see that there are plenty of books in there to go through. Like I said before, there also is like a fax machine in there, which is pretty interesting. Haven't seen one of those in a while. So
I'm sticking very close to my dad in a way that he probably may not realize I'm right next to him at the moment, but like behind.
all right, so excellent. Hank kind of comes over behind the last of you who's by the door and is starting to kind of wave you in. Are y'all getting in here, or are we just going to stand here agape, not doing anything?
Jim's already laying down on one of the lower bunks.
He's pointing at Buddy. Are you coming in this room?
Sorry, Buddy's in the room. He's looking around trying to figure out what agency Jim works for, because this guy showed up out of nowhere, and I'm still kind of skeptical of, even though he's dying, I'm still kind of skeptical of him.
All right, so he goes over and he closes the door and barricades it. So there's a very, I guess, reassuring clang of this door being very locked in a concrete room that looks like it's very fortified. He looks at Jim and says, all right, what happened here?
There's been a series of incidents. We had some bear people And we currently are being pursued by demons and most likely local law enforcement.
Typical Tuesday.
And if someone has an extra letter, maybe we could show it to our buddy Hank. That might help fill in the blanks.
Rosie taps her letter on her dad's side from behind.
Oh, I don't dare touch that. I'm going to rip it in half. You can feel free to go ahead.
Rosie hands it over.
All right, he takes it. He takes a look at it and sits there kind of silently for a minute. Then he walks over to the fax machine and puts it into the fax machine. Dials a number that's already pre-selected in there, and then goes off, making a characteristic humming and beeping noise of being faxed somewhere else.
And while this happens, Jim's going to hold his hand out towards Buddy and say, "Now, Buddy, I know you're feeling some kind of a way right now, but our best chance here is to engage with the agency. We're going to need some support for this one."
Yeah, you gotta give me a little more information, buddy.
That's your name.
I know. I said it to John earlier. I was like, wait.
Not like Buddy the name. Buddy is in pal.
Buddy, old pal.
Well,
All things in good time, Buddy. But I'm happy to answer a question here before I potentially lose consciousness for a moment. What are you wondering about?
Why are you here?
The information that these little demon children seem to have is the same information that the agency has come to, which is that there's something very special about that child over there.
You want to run that one by me one more time, Jim? I'm sorry. I seem to have kind of this, memory tick that keeps happening where I keep having the same thing where people keep telling me that they got information on my daughter, and it just, it's kind of rubbing me in the wrong way.
Hey, Father of the
like you
Year,
should've
let's take it down.
let's
take it down a notch.
I want to be like, Rosie, come here, and have her sit by me because I feel like shit's about to go down between her dad and Jim.
So,
I'll be like,
Jim, my buddy Jim. So you're going to tell me, in all the time we've been talking to each other, you've had information on my daughter, and you didn't think for 1 second that information would be useful to me?
First off, John, I did not have this information for as long as you may believe. I was sent here to this group for support and logistics, and that is all I was told. And I know that you and maybe Buddy think that I'm some sort of a wizard who knows all and is part of a secret society. I'm actually a relatively low-level member of an organization. And Buddy, I have probably a lot of the same questions you do. But I have a job to do, and I have come to understand that little girl is something special and is something to be protected. And John, if you and I can agree on nothing else, it's that we must protect that child at all costs.
If I hear you say my daughter is special one more time, I'm going to put a fucking bullet between your eyes.
I mean, the job's halfway done, man. If you got to do it, we might as well do it now.
Guys, stop. John, you explain the letter then.
I'm not really in the mood for explaining much right now.
Okay, the rest of us are looking for explanations.
Dad.
This doesn't make anybody comfortable. Nobody's loving this except the 12-year-old who's actually been named in the letter. But if you're her dad, you can't deny this, dude. What are we gonna do with this? We're crossing this bridge when we get to it. We're at it.
So
are you crossing or not?
What information do you want? That she was conceived in a bowling alley parking lot?
I want to know what this letter means to you. Everybody else is trying to figure it out, and you're the only one in denial.
Dad, do you remember that time I told you about in Austin where that really weird guy ran up to me and told me I was super special and I needed to be careful and I was supposed to be watching out for things? And I was like, this is just a crazy homeless guy. And you remember when I told you about that?
Yeah, I just figured it was a guy a lot similar to that little flaky guy across the room.
Wait. How long ago was that?
I don't remember, Dad. How long ago was that?
Let's see. It was probably about... It's about 6... It's right before I started taking you to the gun range. So it's probably been about a year.
Yeah.
So this isn't news to you, man. your kid's special. And there, I said it again, put a bullet between my eyes, but it's not going to change the fact that we have these flying demons coming to deliver that message. A homeless guy in Austin trying to give you that message. Your daughter herself.
All right.
What's going on?
Just a quick interruption here. While you're having this argument, Hank goes over to the fridge that's down in that room and pulls out a bag of blood, brings it over to where Jim is, and hooks it up to his veins. Then he walks over to John and points at his chest and says, "If you threaten a member of my agency again in this room, I'm going to kill you where you stand."
Okay. Do you have kids, Hank?
I don't think that's really any of your business.
Good. I didn't want to know anyway.
Excellent. Carry on.
All right, maybe I'm the one taking a cigar break.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking here from what you're talking about. I've sent this out to the agency. Hopefully they can give us some information of some kind. I'd say that what you probably best do right now is maybe get some food in you and get some shut-eye. I'll keep an eye on the place, but the reality is that you're not going to get any information at least until tomorrow morning at the earliest.
Can I tell you guys something I saw? So I don't totally remember what happened with the bear. I do remember the bear getting out, and I remember going into the barn, but then when we were outside, there was like this like blue kind of flame out like in the hills that kind of looked almost like a person, like a body, but I couldn't really make it out, and I don't know what that was, and I kind of just ignored it at the time, but I feel like since we're just telling everybody everything that we've seen at this point, that maybe I should probably tell you.
That was very useful information. And since we're laying our cards on the table, and since everything about my daughter seems to be special, if in case y'all didn't know, her birthday, I don't know if it means anything to any of y'all, but she was born July 31st, was that 1982. Does that date ring a bell to anybody?
I'm going to look at that almanac.
Excellent.
Walk over to the bookshelf and I'm browsing and I find an almanac. I'm looking for anything that's happened on July 31st, 1982 that is relevant. And I'm also going to see if I can figure out when the next lunar eclipse, I don't know if it said, I assume
Do you mean
lunar
like,
eclipse is going to be.
do you mean like the nuclear tests?
But wait, no, I don't. It was a Saturday. I don't know.
What do you know, buddy?
I know that in 1982 the USSR performed a few nuclear tests right around that time. I didn't know like we got weird shit going on. It just seemed like it might be a thing.
All right, so John, why don't you play the role of the almanac for a moment and tell us what happened in 1982?
So in 1982, on July 31st, there was a solar eclipse that happened on the other side of the world. It actually encompassed most of Asia, which is about where Texas is on the other side of the world.
Okay. Did anything weird happen in Asia?
Were you in Asia?
No, I can't say I've ever been outside the U.S. No, it was just a weird astronomical phenomenon. I read about it actually the next week. It was in the newspaper. You know, people talk about, lights flickering and things like that. I just thought it was funny.
The letter has something to say about an eclipse.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, I suppose.
Wait, what day is it today?
So I believe that we are in mid-August at the moment. So here's what I would say. You can tell, and I want you to tell me what kind of eclipse it is, but in 3 months there'll be another eclipse. What eclipse is that?
Talking to me?
Anybody.
Yeah.
We're working together. Tell me what kind of eclipse you want it to be.
Well, so what was the eclipse that happened in, sorry, John, what did you say the eclipse was that happened when
The
Rosie was born? Solar?
the solar eclipse.
So I'm guessing lunar if we have light and dark going on here.
Very good. I like that, buddy. Lunar eclipse in 3 months. All right, so let's figure this out. Are you wanting to do anything besides eat food and get some shut-eye at the moment?
I want a lot of information, but Hanky Panky over there looks pretty pissed off, so I'm going to ask him if he's got a toothbrush.
He goes over to a drawer and pulls out a bunch of just different toiletries that they have stashed there. Hands you one along with some toothpaste.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
I turn and I say, Dad, do you remember when I got this necklace?
If I seem to recall, I believe you got the necklace on your 5th birthday. I was told it was a hand-me-down. Charlie, your mom, was actually from her mother. It's pure silver, and if I remember correctly, it's also got a good luck charm on the inside. There was a picture of your grandmother in there, so that way she was always watching over you.
I do still have that here, but it did cut me earlier. Jade wasn't lying. I don't know what happened with that. I was just nervous and I was playing with it, and then I pulled it off. And so Rosie's gonna like pretend to pull it off, and it's going to come off, and it just like elongates.
I'll be honest with y'all. It's been a hell of a long day for me, and obviously for my little girl here. I've had a lot of information to take in. I know my little girl's special. I'm not quite sure what to do with the fact that everybody knowing and everybody believing that she is. My little Rosie. My hope was that I'd always be the person that could protect you the most. But I get a feeling we're a little bit beyond that at this point. So whether I like it or not, I'm just going to have to trust that these people know what they're talking about and that they can protect you just as much as I can. But that's why I went and taught you how to shoot. That's why I told you how to watch out for other people. But I'm going to take my leave, if that's all right with all y'all. And I think I'm just going to do some reading.
But you're not leaving. You're gonna stay with me, right?
Honey, I will be with you until I draw my last breath.
Okay.
I just don't have the ability to ingest any more fun information this evening.
Okay. Can I just come sit read with you?
That would mean the world to me.
Aw. So Rosie goes and reads a story with John. Jim passes out from his newly acquired blood, and after a very exhausting day. And I'm assuming Jade and Buddy, are you going to go rack out here too, or are you going to do anything else this evening? We're now approaching midnight.
I think it's, I think, yeah, good night.
What about you, Jade?
Hank, what time you normally wake up?
I guess it depends. Usually around 6 in the morning, but I'm not going to bed tonight.
Where are you going to be?
Right here.
Don't go outside.
All right.
Might want to tell them a little bit more than that, Jade.
Happen to be a cigar smoker, Hank?
I sure am.
I mean, we just met, but you're taking us in. We seem to be pretty safe down here. You got everything that we need to to hunker down for a minute. Earlier this evening, I had this vision, this premonition, and it was this place. It was here. I mean, it wasn't this room. I didn't know this place existed, but I saw a guy who, the risk of sounding like a crazy person, looked a lot like you, standing out overlooking a lake, smoking a cigar, and got dragged off into the trees out there. It looked like those trees. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm living a memory right now. And there was screaming, I presume. I guess yours. And it didn't sound too great. So I guess, thanks for taking us in tonight, man. I can't shake that this is the spot of this thing that came to mind. And I guess it would just help me to know that if you're going to be inside tonight and not overlooking the lake with a cigar, I don't want that nightmare to come true.
Well, he goes and grabs a chair, plops himself into it, and says, I appreciate that. I'll probably have a cigar while you're sleeping. Inside this room.
All right. I mean, I guess just open a vent or something.
Do what I can. All right, so we're going to say that you're all going to finally rack out after finally feeling a little bit safer, a little bit more rested, and you fall asleep. I would say sometime around 5 in the morning, you do hear what sounds like a fax call coming in, and then just pages printing, page upon page upon page. You hear some shuffling over by the papers, and then you hear those papers getting set down on the table where the fax machine is. Nothing happens else eventful, and then he does kind of rouse you around 7 in the morning with some easy-to-eat items that have been stored away in here, just some different pastries and stuff. It's like, everybody's awake now.
Before that happens, around 6, John normally stirs up. He probably would have gotten up and said, Hank, you happen to have a piece of paper and a pen that I can borrow?
I do. He goes and grabs a blank piece of paper and gives you a pen.
Okay, so John goes over to a desk and scribbles something down. And then when everybody else gets up, Jade, you got a second?
Yeah, what's up?
I just need you to come over here for a little bit. Last night was a little intense, and I feel like you connect with Rosie better than anybody. In the event, with everything going on, should I ever find myself not able to be around anymore to protect my little girl, I want you to give her this note from me. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got you.
All right. Hank, after this occurs, goes over to Jim and ushers you over to talk quietly.
I'm assuming I'm unhooked from my blood supply.
You are, yes. And you also can
color
remove,
in my face.
Walking around with one of the things.
You can also remove one harm now that you've rested and taken some blood.
Yeah, right.
Great. All right. So yes, I will walk over with Hank. Very interested in what he has to say.
It's like, well, I can't show them this yet. So there's some sort of weird demon that we looked up with this information. We hadn't really heard about it at all, but it might be worth reading through a lot of this stuff here. Apparently there's some sort of weird cult, something around the Infernal Gate. I don't know, something strange. And there's this cult trying to bring back this demon named Morax. The only thing that stops Morax is a chosen one who apparently appears after a certain period of time in order to either stop or to fail, and the world gets lost to Morax. He goes and he gives you a little thing that you can all read in here as well. So let me show you real fast.
As this information is relayed to Jim, he just gets a pained look on his face and he kind of looks away and he's like, it's always the cultists. Goddamn cultists.
All right, so he hands you what looks like a copy of a really old book, and it's in old writing, probably from around the late 1700s, early 1800s. In it is some sort of drawing in ink of what appears to be a demon, and then a description of, I guess, the demon's story that you're not quite sure. So I'm going to show you this. but the actual book itself says, "In the days of yore, fraught with discord and the steadfastness of the devout, from the nethermost chasms of perdition there did arise a creature of matchless deceit and wickedness, known amongst the hushed conclaves of the cursed as Morax, his very being interwoven with the blackest threads of damnation, did seek dominion not alone within the brimstone-laden depths of his emergence, but over the realm of mortals as well. Morax, in his fiendish regality, did assume a guise both dreadful and august, his eyes ablaze with the infernal fires, and his mien, commanding the terror of all who gazed upon him, were etched with the runes of eldritch and prescribed might. His voice, heavy with the portent of annihilation, did herald the calamity that his reign would visit upon the world. To his darksome will was bound a coven most foul, the openers of the infernal gate, who did abandon the light to consort with the umbra. Compelled to flee the sanctity of the old world, they bore with them relics of dread power, keys to the arcane rite that would summon their master to dominion. Amongst these damned artifacts were the scepter of the abyss, wrought from the ossature of a celestial turncoat, and the tome of endless night, its leaves inscribed with the quintessence of unending torment. These accursed implements were central to their malefic ritual, the purposed to sunder the boundary twixt realms and signal the commencement of Morax's epic. For generations unnumbered, these disciples of the abyss did labor in shadow, their spirits ensnared by the lure of ascendancy and sovereignty at the side of Morax. They awaited the astral juncture foretold by oracle, a conjunction of the heavens that would endorse their blasphemous sacrament and swing wide the portals for Morax to ascend his terrestrial throne. Yet, as the gloaming stretches and the dark seeks to subsume the light, thus does the gleam of hope kindle in the breast of the virtuous. Every century and a half, by the firmament's mandate, a paragon of virtue is fated to rise, their destiny entwined with a ceaseless contest against the encroaching gloom. This elect, unaware of their calling, is destined to oppose the swell of malevolence, to withstand the ascent of Morax and his iniquitous followers. Armed with the luminescence of veracity and the courage of the just, this exemplar of light confronts a nemesis whose might springs from the profoundest abysses of despair, a demon lord encircled by his legion and the instruments of perdition, setting the stage for a clash of monumental significance.
Shit.
I want to look at John and kind of say, you know what this means, right? I mean, she's going to need a hell of a lot more training than you've given her. It's a lot to take in.
It sure is.
I don't know how I would do any of that.
Well, not alone, Rosie. Not alone.
Never alone, kiddo.
She pulls Jade close to her, and she's by her dad, so she's like holding them.
Excellent. So, do you have any questions about this right now that you want to ask the keeper at the moment before I move on to the next change?
Why so much passive tense?
Excellent question.
Yeah, I do actually have a question about this. The century and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened roughly a century and a half ago?
So he shuffles through the papers. It looks like in 1843. Well, actually, let me just see what I can find here. Let's see. Let me see if I can start back more closer to the beginning. Okay, so it looks like there's this cult, the cult of the Infernal Gate, that fled Europe in the late 1600s, somewhere around there. So they sought freedom from their religious persecution, and they brought with them ancient texts and relics. I think that they mentioned that in that old tome. Hopeful that the New World would provide an opportunity to summon Morax without interference. There apparently was a first attempt to do so in 1693 in a secluded East Coast enclave. They tried opening the Infernal Gate, but despite their meticulous preparations, the attempt failed due to an unforeseen celestial interference, forcing them to flee as local suspicions arose. Looks like from then, they somehow then headed westward. And then there was a discovery somewhere out here in central Texas of a ley line. And it looks like that demonic ley line is what they started to try to use to channel a way to open back up a gate towards this demon himself. At the actual ley line themselves, they had mentioned something about building some sort of schoolhouse they used as a covert base for their cult, and it's a site for ritualistic practices. But again, it failed in 1843. They attempted to summon Morax in 1843. It ended in disaster, and it not only resulted in the near annihilation of the cult, but also caused the physical destruction of this schoolhouse, leaving it as a haunted ruin and a testament to their failure. The few surviving members of the cult were scattered, demoralized, and they I think went into hiding or just all died out. But we're now here again at the 150-year mark, and we could be having something else happening.
This would be the Infernal Schoolhouse, would it?
It certainly would.
Have you heard of this, buddy?
Just rumblings, nothing real concrete. I've come across it through my research.
The things you've come across in your research about this schoolhouse is that it's an ephemeral manifestation. It's not always there anymore after this cataclysmic event in 1843. It acts much like the Flying Dutchman, and it only shows up under specific circumstances.
Like a lunar eclipse?
Could be.
Like a celestial interference.
Indeed. So here's what we're going to do. We're about to take a break in 2 minutes, but before we do, I'm going to tell you that as you were having this conversation, the room begins to smell like sulfur and fire, and black smokes begins pouring in through the vent that goes outside. Let's take a break.
Well, crap.
We will be back, let's say at 8:40. I'm going to go ahead and put us on intermission, and we'll go from there.
Really stepped in it this time, didn't we, kids?
Move, X-Lax.
Okay, so we are now back from our intermission. When we last left off, our heroes were having some trouble there in the basement after finding out quite a bit about Morax. Currently, there is some black smoke that is pouring into the room itself. It's quite acrid and disgusting. You can tell that that smoke is not going to dissipate, and you do not have long until you are going to run out of air.
We need to get out, Dad. We need to get out.
Hank, you got a way to open that damn door.
Okay. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna work.
Hank goes over and he opens the door. He also takes his gun, gets it loaded, and then starts heading up the stairs.
What other weapons are in the bunker that I can actively see?
Actively see right now, you can see nothing since the room is filling with black smoke.
Okay, never mind. Out. I
Out.
follow.
All right, you all follow up the stairs. You notice that the cabin itself is not filled with smoke. Just the bunker portion of it.
Where the hell's
Where's
that coming
that?
from?
Where does that exit to?
Out there in the woods, there must be something out there messing with it.
Rosie goes to the window.
As you look out the window, where you saw the woods before, it is daylight outside, but where the woods are around the cabin are pitch black, not letting any light into them.
What time is it?
What the shit is happening?
So on the opposite side, if you look out the window, it is bright as day. It is 7 in the morning. You can see the lake, but the woods are black.
Yeah, we
Okay,
got
which
some
side
visitors.
Which side is the Humvee on comparatively? Like, would it be away from or towards the smoke?
I would say it's about midway in between both the smoke and then also the lake.
Hank, we're going to need some more firepower. Do you have anything else in this cabin that we could use?
Yeah, it's back downstairs.
Shit.
He's like,
Well,
he says,
ours
hang on a
full of
second.
stuff.
He says, hang on a second. He goes over and he finds a panel and knocks it a couple of times, opens it, and inside of it is a gas mask. He puts it on. He goes downstairs, back into the blackness. You hear some rummaging around for a few minutes. He's barely able to see. It's like stumbling. He's having a hard time down there. He comes back up and he's holding a crate. It's like he pulls off the gas mask. I'm sorry, this is the best I could do. And it's just a crate filled with grenades.
Yeah.
I'm going to investigate a mystery.
Tell me what you're doing to investigate the mystery.
I'm going to roll for investigate a mystery.
No. Tell me what you're doing to investigate the mystery.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, like by
was very
just
meta.
rolling for it mostly is kind of how the game works.
No, you
Will
got
this
to
thing
tell me. You
do
have to tell me how
this?
you're investigating it.
Okay, I'm looking in one direction at pure black, and I'm looking at the other direction at a beautiful day.
Okay.
And there's smoke going down into the lower level, but not the upper level.
And tell me,
And
what would you reference this against in your own knowledge base?
what would I reference this against in my own knowledge base? That's a good question. Hold on.
Now, for those of you listening, I usually try and get bonus points if somebody can come up with some BS on the spot right here. So
All right.
we're waiting to see if that happens.
All right. There's a lot on my mind lately with lunar eclipses and solar eclipses, the lightness and the dark, all of these kind of contradictory things coexisting at the same time are starting to kind of have this sort of theme that's playing. And so I see darkness and I see light. I'm thinking about eclipses. I've spent time looking at the almanac. And so I'm trying to wonder what this part of the dark and the light.
Excellent. You have
It's trying to
unlocked
tell me.
Investigate a Mystery. Give that a roll for me.
Okay.
Nice.
That is a success. It's a 10.
Okay. So that means you can do 3 or you can hold 3, but you can decide how many questions you want to ask right now. And remember, they do have to be pertinent to what we're doing right now. They can't just be like, what kind of creature is it? That would be hard to know right now.
I think I want to know what's being concealed in the darkness.
Well, what you can tell is that is magic smoke for the most part. And from what you've noticed from both the smell, appearance, and strangeness around it, is that it's likely Smoke from hell.
Okay. Smoke from hell. A gate is opening somewhere, I presume, because hell smoke doesn't just arise from the earth in the middle of the Texas woods. I'm going to hold 2 if I can.
Okay, excellent. She's investigated that mystery. What else would you like to do now that the smoke is pouring closer and closer?
Basic understanding. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
I was going to say, so with the basic understanding that I have the occult, I was wondering if I could potentially read a bad situation, knowing that, if there is potentially a gate with everything, with potentially creatures coming out, maybe if there's an understanding that I have on.
Yes, absolutely. I would go for that. Give me a roll.
Cool.
And what'd you get there?
I got a 5, my friend.
All right. Do you want to use a luck point for that, or do you just want to fail that entirely?
You know what? I'm actually going to use a luck point.
All right,
this
excellent.
is important enough. So with that...
remember to ask pertinent questions.
Yes, absolutely. So, what is the best way in if I was going into the blackness to try to figure out what was in there?
I would say for sure that you would need some sort of protection to at least breathe. So if you were able to get Hank's gas mask, that would probably assist. Or if I would recommend Jade, but Jade unfortunately has turned off her powers for this session, so there's nothing she could do to help you breathe in there right now.
Sure. What is the most vulnerable thing around? Is it my daughter? Is it everybody in the house?
I would say the most vulnerable thing is just right now being out in the open, regardless of who it is.
Okay. And we've noticed definitely the black night and the day, but are there any dangers we haven't noticed yet?
Yes, I would say that there's definitely something on the other side of that darkness that is conjuring this. From your understanding of the occult, it is at a minimum a lesser demon.
Hank, if it's all right with you, I'd like to borrow that gas mask. I think we're going to have to go in there and figure out what the hell's going on.
Are there more of those gas masks?
There are some down in the basement.
I think we need to go get them.
Yeah, John, you're not going alone, man.
I agree. You may need a driver.
To go into the basement?
Jim, how airtight is that car?
How what?
How airtight is that car?
Not at all. It's not a submarine.
Yeah, it's under normal circumstances.
Do we have a submarine?
You just keep pulling stuff out of it like Mary Poppins' bag. I don't know.
It's chock full of holes right now, so I don't think it's gonna do much other than basic transportation if that's what we need.
All right. Well, the only person that really knows that basement is Hank, unless somebody else has a photographic memory. So.
Hank, could you go back down and try to get the rest of the masks for us?
I'll do what I can. So Hank runs back in there. He's doing what he can. It is pitch black, and I do mean pitch black. Even the forest in front of you is pitch black. It's not just night black. It is like impossible to see through black.
Any crosses or any iconography, religious iconography upstairs?
I would say that there is just a old wooden cross there on the wall, yes.
Okay. So taking that off, I'll definitely kind of brandish that as kind of a hopeful way to, cause anything to retreat. I'll have Jim make sure he's got his rosary ready.
All right, so as you are doing this, there's a secondary darkness that seems to be coming ahead of the impenetrable darkness. It's almost like you're seeing a huge shadow come over you, and it seems to just go right to where the lake is. And then out from the darkness, you see what appears to be a red glowing body with horns that is walking towards you. Let me see if I can show you that here within the game.
We shall not pass.
All right, let me
We've already leveled up to Balrog. That's problematic.
All right, let's bring up our other friend here. So, through the suffocating darkness, a barely discernible figure emerges. Its form, it is subtly outlined in an eerie red hue. The creature's eyes pierce what appears to be night around you, glowing with a sinister, almost predatory light. The stillness is occasionally pierced by the sound of its movement, a soft, almost imperceptible rustling that suggests a deliberate stealth. A distinct, unsettling scent permeates the air, a combination of smoldering embers and decay. This entity, a blend of shadows and whispers, exudes a palpable sense of malevolence, making the very forest seem to recoil in its presence.
Jim's standing at the door, seeing what's happening. He's got a rosary in his left hand and a grenade in his right hand. And he just kind of turns over his shoulder and he says, John, are we fighting? Are we running? Are we going to stay around and talk to this thing?
Now that we
It's not going to leave. You guys said everything's going to just be where we are, but I think it's going to be where I am, so we have to do something here.
Now that I can get a clear view, kind of the creature, I'm going to try to investigate a mystery to see if I can discern or remember what kind of creature it might be.
Okay. You give me one question.
What sort of creature? Or no, what can hurt it, actually?
Well, what you know of demons is that usually something that is holy in nature, and I don't mean a cross, is required to hurt them. They are a little bit more on the stronger side of repelling things, so you'd probably need some sort of magical weapon that might be forged by a celestial entity, or you might be able to do some sort of ritual, a magic ritual, to keep it at bay.
John, you wouldn't be able to bless this lake, would you? It's a whole lot of holy water out there.
Look, I've said a lot of Our Fathers and Hail Marys, but that's got nothing to do with this circumstance right now.
I mean, it might though.
You do
It's
hear like
hellfire.
you do hear a booming, shouting voice coming from where the creature is, and it seems to shout out at you, "I am Silas the Lesser, Herald of Morax. I demand to see the Chosen One."
He just wants to see me.
I step in front of Rosie. No.
I step in front of Jade in front of Rosie.
Rosie tries to push Jade out of the way. This is probably not going to go well.
There's a part of me though that trusts you. Like, you seem to know in that moment who you are more than I know who you are, and so I kind of just like watch for a second.
All right,
I
push you, and I look up at Jim to see if Jim will move.
Jim looks you in the eye and kind of subtly bows his head and steps to the side.
All right, and Rosie is going to walk out the door and face Silas.
I am walking out with...
I have my 9mm on me. I'm ready, and I'm just like cautiously having her back.
Rosie, put the gas mask on.
I have a grenade in my 9mm, and I'm taking up the rear.
All right, so describe to me where everyone is. Describe where everyone is standing at the moment.
Okay, I would be at the front.
Front porch?
Next to her.
With John, with my dad.
Okay.
Did we get the gas mask from Hank?
See what happened to Hank?
Or wait, no.
He's still down there trying to find the gas mask for you.
Uh-oh.
Are we struggling to breathe, or are we okay right now?
You're not struggling to breathe yet. It's just dark around you. You're not quite...
But he runs back in and starts yelling at Hank. Hey, hey, Hank. Hey there, buddy. Have you found those yet? We got a situation up here.
Rosie, I feel like you're ahead of me to the right. Like I'm behind you to your left. And I'm kind of like watching you and like doing this sort of thing and trying to just like be prepared to react if something goes wrong.
Okay. So it'd be...
I'm going to turn you towards me and say, did I ever tell you how beautiful your eyes were when I first saw you? And I'll never forget that. I'm so
They're
proud
still
of
nice. All of this is you, Dad.
I think I might legitimately cry, you guys. We're facing a hellspawn. He's not here yet.
So cinematic.
I'm like legitimately about to weep.
Hey, Hanky Panky, hurry up down there.
And
really sweet.
All right, so as you're having this conversation, the creature looks at both John and Rosie. Its jaw opens extra long. Its teeth are
No.
bared. It coughs a big plume of black smoke out at you. Looking at this is terrifying. So what I'd like for the two of you to do is give me an act under pressure roll to make sure that you don't freeze in place watching this creature's body contort as it engulfs. All right. And
fail
John.
for me. Mixed success.
All right, so Sam, you do not succeed. Oh, sorry, Sam. Rosie, you do not succeed. My apologies there. Rosie,
You're good.
So you are frozen in place. You cannot do anything, at least for a few moments. John, you
Okay.
do succeed, but unfortunately you take 3 harm from the smoke as it goes into your body, hurting your lungs.
All right, I think I want to use a big whammy. I'm reactive right now. I want to step in front of Rosie.
Is Big Whammy magic?
It's kick some ass, but using weird instead of tough. But yes, on a miss, I get magical backlash.
So it would be using magic to use the Big Whammy.
And I forfeited that already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, had I known, that would have affected my big whammy. All right. Don't use magic, kids. You can't big whammy. All right, so can I just kick regular ass instead of big whammy ass?
Yeah, so tell me what kind of ass you're kicking. Are you shooting it with a 9mm?
Yeah, I pretty much just want to empty the whole chamber on this thing and just go bam, 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 and just like right at the mouth and just like see what happens.
So roll to kick some ass for me.
Okay, I love that line. Roll to kick some ass. Here we go. Well, shit.
Now, what does your 6 tell you on your kick some ass?
Hang on. It doesn't specify what happens on a failure in kick ass. On a 7+, you and whatever you're fighting inflict harm on each other. On a 10+, you choose one extra effect.
Mm-hmm. So
but it doesn't say anything less than 7 specifically.
You don't actually hit the creature at all. You miss, and it closes the distance and gets up close to you and claws you for 3 damage. And blood spurts everywhere from your body.
1, 2.
With no answer from Hank and hearing Jade scream, I'm going to roll protect someone, and I'm going to try to protect Rosie.
Okay. So with your protect someone action, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to attack the creature? Do you want to do something like move Rosie out of the way? What are you trying to do with your protect someone?
I'm presently unstable.
I am going to try to I'm going to try to move her to make sure she doesn't suffer any harm. Protect. You prevent harm from another character. So yeah, I'm just trying to prevent harm from happening to Rosie right now. So
how long will I have to wait till I can do something again?
I would say after we figure out what Buddy's doing.
Buddy's gonna try to grab her and get her back in, away, further, away from the creature.
Okay, so go ahead and roll to protect someone.
Success, advanced success.
But you don't use advanced success until you level up. So you got a really good success. Or you succeed in pulling her away from the creature and then back behind you, so that way she's not directly in the line of fire for whatever the creature might do next. Before we get to you, Rosie, as you do so, Hank does come running back upstairs. with some gas masks and comes out the front door, notices the creature, and then takes the assault rifle that he has on his person and starts firing at the creature. He does hit it, but it seems like it's not quite entering the creature as much as it would. It's almost like it's grazing the creature's skin as he's shooting it with this gun. He is running forward closer to the creature, and he says, "You guys need to get out of here."
When that happens, Jim runs towards the Humvee, and he's just trying to get this thing turned on and to move it to a place where everyone can get in.
Okay. Go ahead and act under pressure for me to make sure you can do that.
I'm like hearing kind of what he's saying. Like I'm hurt and I'm bleeding. But I'm like saying to myself, it was unstoppable.
All right, Jim, do you want to use a luck point or do you want to have a problem with your car right now?
Absolutely a luck point.
All right.
Is there?
All right, you're able to start it up. It is clearly idling rough. It is not having a good time. It needs some help. But you're able to get it going and then start turning it.
Okay. So I'm going to turn it directly as close as I can to point it away, but also get close enough so that everyone can get in it.
Well, I already have a few grenades. Rosie, while you're behind me, grab a couple of those grenades for the road.
And the gas masks.
So Rosie's really torn right now. And so she's not acting quite super fast on what Buddy's asking her to do, because what she wants to do is go towards this thing. Like it's feeling like that is what she needs to do or what she wants to do. And so she is fiddling with her necklace and yanks to the side and it becomes long. And this time, not just long, but also like the blade that popped out before that Jade would have seen. Jade would have been the only one that saw this before, pops out. And Rosie's eyes roll back into her head, and so you only see whites of her eyes, and she rushes this thing to kick ass.
Excellent.
Shit.
What the fuck?
So I'm going to say that as you're doing that, he's not going to attack you, so I want you to roll for kick ass here in a moment. But as you're doing so, he develops a smile across his face and makes a sinister laugh. And as he does so, he rushes up and rips off Hank's head, throwing it on the ground.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay, can I
Now
roll?
roll to kick some ass.
It was unstoppable.
Success.
Nice.
All right, you succeed. Tell me what you can do with your extra points there.
I am going to inflict terrible harm. I also have a question. How does armor play into damage being dealt against me?
It's going to be subtracted from it unless it's magical harm.
Okay. Okay, cool. Just checking. All right. Sounds good. So I'm going to do terrible harm.
Okay. So how much harm are you doing in total?
So I would do, I think, 3, because my weapon is 2, plus the extra, so 3.
Okay. So
plus it's magical, though.
Yes.
So,
because of that, your blade slings out from the chain and slices across the creature's chest, spurting black blood all over you. It does take quite a bit of damage from doing so, and has seemed to penetrate its own armor.
Seeing that, how far away are we from the creature now? Is it pretty close to us?
It is pretty close. Now, just as a reminder for those of you who are newer to Monster of the Week, every time that you do roll to kick some ass, unless it's far enough away to just do harm as intended, as in you're just shooting a sniper rifle, it's going to do harm to you too.
So Rosie yells, "You all leave!" And she doesn't sound like herself at all. Her eyes are still white, and she's like basically just like commanded you to leave.
I start kind of slowly going away, like I'm like disobediently obeying her. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of making it look like I'm backing away, but I'm not about to just retreat.
All right.
Seeing that its armor was like damaged, I wanted to try to take a shot with my 9mm.
All right, so just as a reminder of what we just watched here, was Hank shot it with an assault rifle, and it did almost nothing to it.
Yeah, but its armor should be damaged now, yeah?
Well, it's its biological armor, so you are welcome to try to shoot it, but go for it. Remember, what happens if you roll to kick some ass up close to this creature?
Rosie is going to do it again. She's just like full anger swinging at this point with the chain.
Oh, then I'm backing away from that sword.
Try to manipulate.
More because of Rosie than the demon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, John, what was that you were saying there?
Try to manipulate Buddy to get in the fucking car.
All right, so go ahead and
You
roll to
don't have to,
manipulate something.
buddy.
Okay, all right, buddies.
Buddy's walking away.
I mean,
Like, yeah, the 12-year-old's got it. All right, never mind.
I'm gonna roll to kick some ass.
All right.
Oh, that was a failure. That one did not go so hot.
All right, so you do fail. It
Okay.
swings right by the creature, but it takes two different stances here. So it moves forward, and it does only slight damage because it's going to pull another action. So you're going to take one harm as it essentially kicks towards you. And then the very ground beneath it becomes almost like this swirling pool of lava, and the grass around him catches on fire, and he falls into the pool of lava, disappearing before the lava disappears and the ground closes up.
All right, Rosie yells at the ground, "Come back, Silas!"
Rosie,
And then she just
sweetie,
falls to the ground.
I know it's only 8 a.m. or something, but we've already had a long day.
None of us have even had coffee yet.
Buddy rushes up to see how
Let's go get
Rosie's
some
doing.
breakfast.
So she's like, she looks very confused, and you can see her pupils again, and the necklace is on her neck again, and she does not seem to totally understand what just happened.
So I want to go up to her and I want to just like put my hand on her shoulder and say, "Do you know what just happened?"
I just remember getting very, very, I don't even know how to explain it. I just so worried about all of you. And I just felt so, angry is not the right word. I don't want anything to hurt you guys at all. I don't know.
Quick health check for people. Is anybody unstable right now?
I am.
All right, we have two unstable people. What are we doing about that? This is a time of the essence sort of thing right now.
Jim pulls the car up slowly and pops open the door and says, "I think it's time to go to the hospital, my friends."
Has the smoke cleared?
The smoke has started to dissipate. It's not all the way gone, but it has started to dissipate.
So Buddy grabs a gas mask and runs into the basement to grab the extra gas masks and the first aid kit.
Okay, so the extra gas masks are up on the ground with you, but you do find the first aid kit pretty easily. It's well identified, and it looks like it has enough in there to stabilize one person.
Rosie runs to her dad. And she's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Dad! No.
I'm okay, babe. Just, it's a little something. It's fine. Just get everybody in the car. We'll figure it out.
Question, so use magic as an option. I'm not like specifically magic, like Jade, but am I able to try to do that if it was like something that I like was feeling very strongly? Like,
You are able to try it if you can give me a strong enough story for why you would be using magic.
okay, this is literally one weekend, and Rosie has very slowly been getting more and more attached to her dad, which she has not been attached to him for years, largely because of her mom, Charlie, just trying to just keep them apart. and just drive wedges in between them. And all the things that he's taught her have been useful this weekend. And every time that she has needed him, he has been there. And she has felt more love towards him in these couple days than she realized she had in years. And she wants him to be there for her. And she does not want to lose him. So it's kind of like almost like a non-romantic Rapunzel tear situation where she wants to save her dad.
That's pretty good. It's pretty convincing. So you're going to get one attempt at this, and you may go ahead and try and do that. You're going to roll weird for me.
Okay. That was a failure.
Okay.
But that story was so good that I feel like
Story.
I feel like Mulligan.
I feel like she was able to do it because she did the good story. John, what is your harm currently?
My harm is currently 5 of 7.
Okay. You take one more harm as she does damage to you magically.
Oh, no!
John is now
No.
critical and needs to get to a hospital ASAP.
We need to get him in the car. Jade, help me get him in. Help me get him into the car, please.
I'm also a little bit unstable, but I'm telling you, like, we're all getting in the car, and I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to calm you down, because now I start to understand that when you are protective over people, you go into, like, a... And so I'm saying it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I'm saying it as much to you as I am to myself, but I'm trying to get in the car and basically, like, Jim, you got to get us out of here.
Let's go.
All right.
Buddy's helping the 2 injured people into the car.
I would say that you don't need to roll for it. You do struggle to get him in there, but you do get him in. So you're going to race back to town. I'm going to say you make it back to town pretty easily and quite quickly. There is a very small sort of urgent care doctor center there that is open 24 hours. You come in, and then there is an emergency room. There is one doctor there right now. He sees the 2 bloodied people being pulled in there and says, holy shit. He goes over and makes a quick call, and he's like, yeah, you got to get here. I don't know what you're doing. I know you normally work on animals, but I need you here right now. Hangs up the phone. Comes over. All right, man, looks like the guy over here. What's your name? What's your name?
This is my dad. It seems John Young. John Young.
All right, lay down in the
Please
bed.
save him.
Tell me twice.
All right, he rushes to grab some blood and then hooks it up to you. He works as fast as he can, essentially stapling the wound closed while also holding pressure on it. He points over to, let's see, you there, let's see, the well-dressed gentleman. What's your name?
Jim.
Jim, I need you to hold this compress on him while we're trying to stop this bleeding right now. He then puts a little bit of powder over it. So then he looks over at Jade. Jade, let's see, what is your name? Was it?
Jade. My name's Jade.
All right. He ushers you over to another hospital bed and urges you to lay down. He takes a look. He's like, Jesus Christ, what kind of creature attacked y'all? Is this some sort of bear out here? It seems a little weird from a seasoning tip.
It was the devil himself.
Oh, great. Podheads out here injuring themselves in some sort of weird satanic ritual. Jesus Christ. All right. He goes over and he does the same sort of thing here. He's trying to put stuff on you. So he urges over towards pointing at you, buddy. He's like, you, I don't even know what your name is. You look weird. But come over here and just hold this down.
You look weird.
Help me stop this bleeding real fast. As he's going through this whole process, you see another guy come running over in like his bedclothes, just like with pajama pants on and a regular shirt. And he immediately puts on a pair of stethoscopes and some gloves, and comes over and starts helping out. So the 2 of you are now stable, but you have not removed any harm damage yet.
During this whole process, as I'm helping to compress John's wound, I just lean over and I just whisper in his ear. I was like, we had to call in a veterinarian because you're such a fucking animal.
You mean that in the nicest way.
All right, so they both seem to administer some different kind of meds. Don't know what they are. Could be ketamine, could be something else. Not quite sure yet. But you are both feeling better, except a bit woozy. So whatever, might be happening over the next hour or two is going to be difficult for you to handle because you are not feeling good. But
because you're both in a K-hole.
Yes, exactly. You do both, however, get to remove 1 harm from your current held harm.
Yay.
That is the most amount of harm you're going to be able to subtract today, as you are still pretty injured. They both seem to be taking their time to try and stitch you both up, working around the staples, and then getting that happen. Oh, wait, are you of the Staples family? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Weird irony here. So they keep working here. They bandage you up. As this is all occurring, it's calm. It's like you're feeling that things are kind of okay. The outside becomes pitch black, and some slight smoke comes under the door.
White smoke, did you say?
Slight smoke.
Oh, okay. Damn,
That's white smoke. The Pope is dead.
I wanted to drink that.
Look at a new Pope.
I'd like to... where'd it go? Read a bad situation.
All right. Give me a roll for that, please.
All right. Oh, wait. When it says sharp, do I add my +2 on that?
No, you just actually click to roll read a bad situation.
Okay.
Okay, you succeed. So go ahead and give me some questions here that make sense based upon the situation you're in right now.
Is it possible to get to...
it's on the list. You got to give me a list question.
Oh, sorry.
Now, as you level up, you can actually ask me other questions that are more free form. But for now, you got to do the one that's specifically on the list.
Got it. I did not see the list. What's my best way out?
Your best way out would probably be looking for some sort of back door for the hospital because the front door is currently compromised.
Okay.
However, that is a back door for you and maybe people who are mobile. You have 2 people who are currently immobile and are in a K-hole.
So I get a whole 3.
So you have 2 more questions you can ask if you'd like right now.
Cool. What's the best way to protect the victims?
Yeah, the 2 victims would probably be the people that are on the stretcher. So I would say if there's maybe another back room that they can get wheeled to, whether it's a lab or anything else, just to get them out of harm's way.
Okay.
Because right now they are very much in harm's way.
Jim and the doctors, can you guys find another room to get them into? And I'm going to see if I can't take a back exit to get some supplies from the car.
The doctors both look confused at you. Why are we moving these patients? They probably shouldn't be going anywhere right now.
Do you not see the smoke coming in through the door?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but where am I going to take them?
Just trust me, get them as far away from that
Jim's going to
door
step
as
forward.
possible.
Jim's going to step forward and say, Doctor, you asked what caused these wounds, and you remember Jade's answer was Satan himself. Something bad is about to happen. If there was a tornado, or if there was something really bad about to happen, where would we take shelter in this building?
We probably go through this back door over here, right next to the emergency area.
And then Jim just immediately takes John's... is he on something mobile, or do I have to pick him up?
Oh, yeah, you can wheel these hospital beds over there.
Before that even, as soon as that happens, John's he's pushing him out the door and heading in that direction.
All right, so seeing the panic in your eyes, they go over and they punch in the little numeric code on the door handle and open it for you. And then they point towards, let's see, I don't know, you there, the weird-looking one. Will you push that other bed over here? We got to get them out of here. So.
Let's go, buddy.
Wait, doesn't Jim have one of the beds?
He does. We have another bed to push.
We're asking you.
Are the doctors not getting the bed? No, I need you. Sorry, and I start screaming at the doctors that I need them to take the beds.
All right, roll and manipulate someone.
Because I need to get to the car. All right. Success.
Excellent. All right, so the other doctor lets go of the bed that they were pushing back there and helps push Jade into the other room. They go through the door and they close it. Jim, are you with them or are you staying there with Buddy?
I push John through, so as soon as I get John to safety, then I'll feel comfortable coming back out.
And what about Rosie? What's Rosie doing right now?
Rosie's starting to do like the necklace thing again, like staring at the smoke coming in through the door.
Excellent. Sounds good. All right, so we have Jim, Rosie, and Buddy all within the lobby area there as you're seeing the smoke pouring. So what is it your plan is there, Buddy?
To find the back exit to get to the car to see if we can't get the gas masks and other we've already found out that weapons don't help, so at least the gas masks.
Okay, so you do see you're not going to be able to go to the back because they have closed the door and it's a locked door. However, over to the right of the lobby, you do see what looks like an emergency exit with a push bar that you can go out.
Okay, so I run out that and assuming I'm not encountering anything, run to the car to grab all the masks.
Okay, so you do make it
and
outside.
I tell Jim to hold the door for me.
All right. So, Jim, are you going to hold the door for him?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
As that's happening and they open that door, Rosie, because she's realizing that there's times where she's like, feels like she just has to go do something. So as they walk that direction, she walks out the front door.
Okay, so here's what we're going to say is happening here. So we're going to have Buddy go outside. You notice that the car is there. You can see about half of it. The other half of it is inside of the smoke. Also, Rosie, as you're getting close to the door, I'm not going to say that this is going to injure you, but I just want you to see it, is that as you're getting close to the door, you hear a scream, the same sort of voice that you heard earlier from Silas. And it's so loud that it shatters the very glass of the doors to the entrance of the hospital.
Okay. That would probably stop her right now because she's not in like a full mode at this point. Is it Silas's voice though again?
It is, yeah.
It is Silas's voice. Okay. So she probably isn't going to exit that door right at that point because she's not like fully in that mode, but she's like very cuspy. She's like very much on the cusp of that,
All right.
of like nervousness and like trying to figure out what to do and protect people.
Sounds good. Jim, what are you doing right now that you see that both Buddy has run out of the car and you've seen and heard the glass shatter at the front doors?
What's the relationship between the front doors and the car exactly?
The car is maybe about 10 yards away from the front doors.
Okay.
Kind of on the same side of the building that you are on currently.
I think I'm just going to alert Buddy to what I'm seeing and what I'm understanding is happening at the front.
What are you saying, Joe?
Buddy, I don't know if you see what's out the front door, but if you're going to grab something, get it and come back in.
I sure should see it, Jim. I'm running. At least this time I don't got blood all over my hands, so I can hold on to everything. I grab the gas masks and start running back towards Jim.
Okay.
Rosie's going to look around just a little bit to see if there's anything like cotton or like earplugs or something like that. I don't know if she would have that in her like backpack, but the backpack's probably in the car. But just after the scream, and she's going to look for it for herself, Jim, and Buddy.
Yeah, you definitely see plenty of cotton balls there in a little glass jar.
She's like, just stuff these in your ears. So she stuffs cotton in her ears.
I'm assuming at this point I've made it back to Jim.
You have made it back, and you're throwing them those gas masks, is that correct?
Yeah, throwing them the gas masks, and I want to run back to where the doctors are because I want to ask them if there happens to be a hospital like chapel.
So they are still on that other side of that locked door, which is quite heavy.
Okay, so I'm just hanging on it.
They're not going to open that right now.
I'm going to say that I'm going to have you roll and manipulate someone because you have scared them into going back there, and now they might think that you're running away from the thing that you're scared of. So,
okay.
Whatever your body language is to open the door, whether they're okay with that.
Failure.
Yeah, they look at you and they roll the two beds away to another room you don't see just to get the hell out of there. Okay, so we all have gas masks donned right now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
have cotton in our ears.
Yeah.
Cotton.
So you do see what appears to be the doors to the front opening very slowly towards you, and you see Silas, still bleeding black blood, begins to hover off of the ground into the lobby of the hospital.
What's the
Great.
distance or the range between Silas and us right now?
Silas is about, let's say, 15 feet away from you at the moment.
Okay, and what's
Right.
Rosie doing?
At this point, she's gotten to the point, like, with seeing him come through, yanks back off, and pretty much, like, simultaneously to the yank is, like, the eyes back in the head situation, and just immediately goes to kick ass, like, just right at Silas with the necklace.
And
Okay.
so, Rosie, does that mean you're running towards Silas?
It's a distance. It has some distance to it, so I'm actually not sure. We didn't really
I would say it's probably about 10 feet long once you
10
go
feet,
out
so
there.
she would have had to
Mhm.
rush a little bit forward.
Okay. And I just want to say, so Jim is near Rosie, and Jim is going to run as much as Rosie runs and just try to maintain a really close physical distance to Rosie as she does what she's doing, while not getting, or trying not to get chopped in half by this 10-foot necklace she's wielding.
All right.
There's
So
a blade on it, too.
all right. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to make an assumption. So I'm assuming that Rosie's going to go ahead and kick some ass. So we'll have her roll for that. And then Jim, why don't you roll to help someone? And when I'm saying help someone, I'm assuming that you're probably also going to maybe fire at this creature or do something to injure it. And I want you to help instead of kick ass because they're kind of the same thing, but you're kind of
Sure.
there as backup.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Uh,
Oh, no. Side note, I have technically enough to level, but I wait on that, right?
Yes, we will have to
Okay,
wait,
cool.
and that way we don't change the pacing. But yes, we'll do that here at the end of the
It,
session.
it looks like we both failed in
You
our
did both
efforts.
fail. Yeah. Okay, so before I adjudicate the next actions here, is there anything you want to do with those failures? Remember, you can spend luck points, but those are permanent losses of luck points.
There's 7 of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, you can eventually regain some of them through leveling up, but it's not going to be instantaneous.
Yeah, I will say for Jim's part, he's all in on this right now. So he's absolutely going to use a luck point here to help.
I'm going to have to use a luck as well because I feel like this is already related to her fate, and I'm going to have fate come in by using luck anyway, so let's do it.
Okay.
So we're going to luck those.
And then, Rosie, as we spend your luck point, what does that do for you as a chosen one?
All right, so as a chosen one, when I spend a luck point, basically one of my kind of backgrounds, my fates will unfold. So one of the 4 tags that I have has to pop up. Do you want me to share those?
Yeah, just tell me what your tags are, and we'll go from there.
All right, so I have a mystical inheritance. I have hidden allies, and those are my heroic tags. And my doom tags are a nemesis and no normal life.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So let's hold on to those. So you're both succeeding. Go ahead and mark your luck points off. You do not mark for experience since you did not fail.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and start with Rosie. Why don't you go ahead and kick some ass for me? So we're going to assume this is a 12 since you are kicking ass with a luck point.
Okay.
So what is your extra point going to be? Remember, this creature is going to injure you as well.
Yeah, I want to go for terrible harm.
Okay. All right.
So that'll be 3, but it's also the magic and silver, so however that should play it.
All right, so we will do that. So the creature takes 3 harm, and it's almost like you do like a perpendicular slash to the same one you made before, and the creature is just bleeding everywhere. It's not doing well. At the same time, it slashes through your armor. So your armor, and now is this a body armor that you've been given, or is this something else?
I am invincible.
That's right. So you take 1 harm.
Good answer.
He said invincible.
My pink shirt provides nothing, but myself is very strong.
That's right. And then, Jim, what are you doing with your kicking of ass, sir?
In my kicking of ass, what I'm really trying to do is, so So as I see Rosie inflicting harm on this creature, I'm really just trying to aggravate the wound, like punch it, kick it, aggravate it to try to distract it from Rosie and try to draw its attention towards me.
So you're wanting to like punch the creature instead of shoot it or anything?
Yes,
You're
just
punching a demon. I love it.
specifically in the
Jim
wound.
Morris, demon puncher.
Jim, use a grenade.
With Rosie
Grenade
a
it
foot
in the
away
chest.
from me. I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, and I'm really trying to just distract this thing from her doing harm to Rosie.
Okay. Excellent. So you do punch this creature, and it looks at you annoyed. It has done no damage, but it looks you dead in the eyes, closes its mouth, and spits black blood into your face.
It's like a camel.
And it comes rushing towards you.
Now, as all this is going on, right, Jade and I are kind of in this back area, right? I mean, we obviously are hearing all this. What do we see around us? Like, is there, what is in this back area?
You were in, it looks like some sort of storage area / laboratory. They don't really have a whole lot of room here for a lot. This isn't a big town. So
Okay.
it's a little bit of combination of both. And then you're obviously hearing all that from out to the left of that room.
Right, so you said it's a storage area. I imagine, that they do probably have occasional times when a priest would come in. Is there any way that I could investigate in here to see maybe if there's any holy water?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, so here's what we'll
Rat
do.
poison, maybe.
You could. I would start off by maybe saying, would you want to just ask the doctors if there's holy water in there?
Sure, I mean, I'll definitely do that. I'm a little out of it. Just like, don't mind me. I'm just doing my own shit. No, but I would probably ask, yeah, is there holy water back here?
One of them looks at you and goes, oh, Jesus Christ, one of these. Looks in the shelf here, and he finds what appears to be some sort of water that's in a little tiny vial. It's like a little plastic one. It's shaped what looks like the Virgin Mary. It's see-through. It has a little blue plastic cap. He throws it to you. It says Water of Lords on it. It says, here you go. I hope you're not drinking that.
I'm not. Do you also have a bottle of water as well?
He looks around and he finds the bottle of water that you use to wash off any sort of chemical burns that's attached to the MSDS kit and hands it to you.
So I open up the bottle of water, open up the vial of holy water, drop one into the other, and then recap it and shake it up.
All right. Excellent. And now that you have the shook up holy water MSDS, lifesaver, what are we doing with it?
I'm essentially going to walk over to where the door is, see if I can't find, try to look for a vantage point to find the monster and say, hey, asshole, fuck off, and I'll throw this towards him to try to see if I can at least distract him or get him to back up.
All right. So you're going to have to open the door to do that. So we're just going to assume that you're opening the door
Yes.
to the back. Why don't you give me an act under pressure roll to do this?
You got
While
it.
he's
Go,
doing
Dad,
this,
go, Dad, go.
I'm looking around for a flashlight. I'm still on this light and dark thing.
I'm using a luck point.
All right. So go ahead there, Jade. You're saying you're looking for a flashlight. You do see that there is an emergency flashlight that's essentially screwed to the wall in a little charging base.
Okay. Do you want to address John's luck point?
I sure
or
do,
can I
yeah.
can I say what I'm going to do with the flashlight as I'm walking out the door with it?
Is it going to interfere with what John is doing right now?
Do John's thing first.
Okay. John, so you do succeed in throwing the bottle at the creature. The bottle itself explodes against its skin, splattering water everywhere. It has like this weird whinge of pain, and its skin starts to smoke a little bit, like this yellowy, gross, acrid smoke, as it's been hit by this vial of holy water, tepid water that's been sitting there for a while. The actual skin begins to bubble around it and spread further and further on this creature. It seems to like yell out this weird scream and shoot like red light out of its eyes and mouth angrily. As it does so, the bubbles get larger and larger and the screams become more pained until the creature explodes into a giant pile of viscera and blood, covering everyone in the room with black blood, and then leaving a bunch of pieces of demon on the ground, which then promptly catch fire.
At this point, I put the flashlight back.
You're like, job well done. Like,
This will be unnecessary.
So we now have a lobby and emergency area covered in black blood and viscera, along with both Jim, or rather the three of you, Jim, Buddy, and Rosie, are all covered in this disgusting mess. The blood itself that's on the ground, as it's been lit, kind of causes some of the linoleum to melt, and you can tell that this creature is clearly not coming back after this one.
Hey, Jade, grab a mop from back there.
Gonna collapse, just kind of falling back.
I think we should hire a service for this cleanup.
Rosie
John,
sees her
one quick thing for John. You do unfortunately tear your stitches and take one harm.
Ah, you just got rid of that, man.
rough way to get harm from that stitch.
Rosie she seems like she is back, and she is like trying to get stuff off of her, but sees her dad fall and starts yelling for the doctors again.
So the doctors come running. As they do so, they see him laying on the ground with the blood starting to arrive again around his hospital gown, and then look into the lobby, and both look at each other. One of them is like, what the shit is happening out here? They both grab him and get him back there and stitched up again. So you don't remove any more harm, but you are at least not unstable. So
I kind of want to like come out of that room towards the doctors and be like, as I said, the devil himself.
Well, okay. I gotta go see if there's any more of that holy water around here.
Amen.
Sir, do you happen to have a chapel in this church?
No, I believe that the word of God is all around you, so feel free to pray whenever you'd like.
Is there a church nearby, perchance?
Of course there's a church nearby.
We're in Texas.
It's a couple
Yeah, right?
blocks down the street.
This
I've never
hospital
been in
is
this
also
town.
church.
Also, just as an FYI for people who don't regularly go to church, not every church has holy water readily available in some sort of urn. That's usually going to be in a Catholic church, which this may or may not have in Central Texas.
Is there a...
They're Episcopalian, aren't they? Oh,
Damn it.
In parentheses.
To be more specific, Doc, do you have a Catholic church nearby?
We do not. We don't worship the Pope out here.
What about a priest? Can't priests make holy water? Don't they just need to bless it?
They sure can. Catholic priests.
Well, what a predicament.
Well, but he still wants to go to the church and start looting crosses and silver and other...
Well, we do need to find a scepter of the abyss and a tome of endless night.
there is a Catholic church in Wemberley. It's where Rosie was christened.
Good call. Also, Jade, I think you bring up a good point. I think we may be looking for those goddamn cultists.
That is true. I will also say, before you say anything, Buddy, while you were having this conversation, figuring out what to do next, you notice that there are a few TVs there inside of the lobby and in the emergency area. They all kind of turn on at once, even though they are quite covered in blood. And you see this weird sort of jittery, staticky image of what appears to be a larger demon, similar to the one that you saw in the book that was faxed over to you. It looks seemingly right at you, almost like it's some sort of eyes carry around you, and it just slowly claps before turning off again, and the TVs catch on fire.
Not the slow clap.
Did that demon just slow clap me?
Says Lucifer.
Buddy just looks at Jim and was like, what the hell were you going to do punching a demon?
Trying to save the kid, man. Just trying to save the kid.
You had a rosary. You could have at least used that.
Next time
Forgot
you
about
run.
He'll have
Next
his
time
chance.
you run at the demon, man.
This
I'm
is
not the one
just
with
the
the rosary,
beginning.
bruh.
You're both having this argument, just your face is covered in black blood. It's
Yeah.
quite amusing.
And at that point, Jim hands you the rosary.
Actually, if I could get that back, please.
Can
I
somebody
guess
please help
John
my
needs it.
dad?
I guess John needs it more right now. Here you go, bud.
One of the doctors comes over to Rosie and says, honey, he's about as help as he's going to get right now. So we just need to give him some time and some healing,
You can't take him to like a hospital and make him better faster?
Well, this is a hospital.
I thought you guys were in urgent care.
It's, how do you even know what that is? Aren't you a little girl?
Rosie,
I'm very intelligent.
Rosie, come here.
No!
We've had
This isn't urgent care. This is not a hospital. There are better medical facilities. We need to take my dad to a hospital.
we've had a big day. Let's take a breath.
That man's a veterinarian.
Horses
And then
need
help
stitches
save their
too.
dad's life.
I appreciate that, but I need someone more specialized.
All right, so let's try and figure out where we are right now. So our status right now is that we've defeated whatever this demon is, Silas the Lesser. We know that there's another demon out there hunting everyone. You have a safe house that is still habitable, but it is, currently guarded over by a man with no head. And you
Right.
potentially have still some legal ramifications unless Jim checks in with the agency at some point to see where things are and whether they've cooled down enough. But again, it has been one day so far.
Yeah,
I think for the most part, we're not going to get in trouble for the stolen truck.
I have a lot of stuff I want to talk to the whole Clayton Johnson Sir person, because he told me that he had it covered if I brought the bear there, and he lied to me. That was clearly untrue. His people had nothing on that bear, so that was his fault, not ours.
That's true. That's true.
Jim is... Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm bleeding out of here. You go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Rosie hands him some bubble tape.
So we've effectively just been covered in blood for 2 days now.
Yes. Well, I mean, you probably did take a little bit of time to rinse up. There are some, small showers in the basement of that house. So you did have a chance to clean up a little bit.
Yeah, but
You'll-
is there a
you'll need to
Super
clean up
8 or
again.
something?
I feel like I'm going to need some psychological help after seeing a complete bear massacre and now demon blood in my mouth.
There is an Econo Lodge just on the outskirts of town there.
Let's go there.
Jim is increasingly concerned about the legal ramifications of all of the involvement. However, he is very clear that based on the tone of the communication with the agency most recently, he's in for all kinds of red tape and probably a pretty brutal ass reaming as well. But he's going to try.
Well, sounds like somebody's going to have to go rogue.
All right.
To be fair, they know about the Chosen One.
Well, Jim.
You go play your cards.
Jim, a few legal things. First and foremost, Taisha is now officially wanted for first-degree murder because she's the last person that was seen within the vicinity of that man. So at the very least, there's more than one person on their radar. Secondly, Clayton Johnson Jr. Probably has to have legal registration of the animal that he was housing. So if he's not able to provide that, then he would be under a fine of, I believe, $200,000, and he would have his hunting license revoked, so he'd have to check in on that. Because
That's assuming he hasn't bribed local law enforcement.
Well, statute 822.111 of the gaming statutes for the state of Texas say that if you are going to keep an endangered animal on your premises, you have to ensure that they are taken care of, that they are not in any danger, and that they're being adequately preserved. Based off of what you told me of, sorry, I'm a little woozy. Based off of his circumstances, I'm not under the impression that animal was kept in any way, shape, or form. Furthermore, on top of that, you have the manner of which, if he was intentionally baiting something, that could also be felony menacing. So Mr. Johnson Jr. also has some other legal issues to deal with, too.
That's very helpful, John. Thank you. And then Jim's going to pick up his phone and walk down the hall and make a call.
Yeah, I did animal control for 5 years.
Uh, I kind of want to say facetiously, what does the code say about Satan himself?
It's funny, it's not mentioned anywhere, but I imagine he's a dangerous animal too.
It's our own law around here in a minute.
All right, so Jim, let's have your phone call, and then let's figure out what everybody's doing for the next session. So Jim, what kind of phone call are you making?
So because I did spend a luck point, my playbook's luck special is your next mission from the agency comes with lots of red tape. Lots.
Okay.
So Jim's request of the agency, of course, is going to be to, help defer law enforcement and get them off our case. And as John has put, there's lots of other places we could try to get the law enforcement to push. But yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to try.
Okay. And so what are you going to be doing to try and essentially push law enforcement away from that?
So I'm going to request of the agency that they help me with this component. And yeah,
Okay.
that's the request.
All right. Go
The
ahead and make
higher
your
level.
request. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. And are you asking for a role play or
Yeah,
a
I am
role?
asking for a role play. Let's make this happen.
Got it.
Ring,
So
ring, ring, ring.
yeah, Jim gets on the phone with his boss Nathan, and he's like, "Hey, Nathan. So
First of all, I told you not to use my name. Are you in a secure place where nobody can hear my name right now?
I am. I'm in a hospital in an enclosed room, and I apologize. It's been a heck of a day, and I'm covered in demon blood right now.
All right. Go for it.
So
You do?
good news. We have taken out two pretty hefty monsters, we'll call them, for lack of a better term. We've had some kind of werebear activity out here. And most recently, we were being chased by demons. Lesser taken care of. He exploded in the hallway of the hospital. We've got a greater demon who laughed at us and clapped on a television screen. But the problem here is we've got enough on our hands. We really need to get law enforcement off our tail. So I'm going to fax you some information and some local Texas animal control laws that I think may come into play here. Maybe we could kind of get the local cops off of our tail and onto some other tails, so to speak.
Okay. So, let me think here. Okay, so what we'll do is we will take Clayton Johnson Jr. We know about what's been going on there, at least for the most part. We'll go ahead and hold him indefinitely in a cell somewhere until you tell me otherwise. That way that doesn't become a stink. But I kind of want to know what you're going to do there to help clean that up and then figure out what we're going to do.
Well, I was recently notified about the little girl. I will say that I wasn't sure what it meant, but as actions played themselves out, I've come to find out that this little kid, Rosie, there's something really special about her, and when it comes to fighting these demons, she's really the only weapon that we've got. So I think my ongoing goal is to continue to protect her, but also to help her understand what her powers are and her abilities. So anything that the agency may do to help aid in that effort would be greatly appreciated. And just a side note, if there's any sort of increased medical supplies or even medical personnel, we're just getting chopped to bits out here.
Okay. Yeah, I see what we're saying here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend that you go back to the safe house. Is Hank still there?
Hank is still at the safe house. That's an affirmative.
Okay. Well, maybe have Hank give me a call when you get back there, and then I can tell him next steps and what we can do. Is that doable for Hank?
So Hank's he's at the safe house. His head has been removed, however.
Okay. All right. Different plan of action. How about you go back to the safe house and you bury Hank so that way nobody finds his decapitated corpse outside. And then I want you to kind of hunker down there in the basement for a couple of days. Take your time. There's plenty of food there. I don't know what's gone on there, but await another fax from me, and I'll tell you where you need to go to next.
Copy. I also did hear that the rocket launchers weren't coming. And at this point, I don't know that the rocket launchers are even going to help us. But this little girl's got this silver necklace, and that seems to be the only thing that's able to even touch these demons.
Yeah, sure, Jim. I'm going to be honest with you. We are cleaning up some pretty big messes here. I think that maybe if you can maybe make it through at least one day without causing mass havoc, I'll maybe give you a rocket launcher to use next time.
That would be amazing, and we'll certainly do our best. But honestly, the trouble keeps following us. So if they come to us, there's nothing I can do. But we will hunker down in the basement until further orders.
Perfect. Hangs up the phone. All right. So, are all of you in agreement to go back to the safe house, or would you like to go somewhere else?
Yeah, but I do want to ask if when Jim emerges from the room, if they're going to send a Scepter of the Abyss.
I have faxed over all of the notes and details. My boss is really up my ass right now, and he's just asking us to hunker down. So I feel like that's probably our best bet for now, is to just hang tight.
How far are we from Wimberley right now?
You're about 3 hours away.
Rosie asked the doctors if there's anything that we can take to help her dad and Jade recover over the next couple of days.
I'll give you some medicine to take with you because they're going to need some pain meds pretty bad. But they need to do whatever they can to just keep the movement down to a minimum, or they're going to tear through those stitches again. So whatever you can do to just give them some rest for at least a few days, that'll probably make them okay. And then whenever we're done cleaning up whatever this is out here, if you want to bring them back in a few days, we can check on them and see how they're doing and see if they need anything else.
Yeah, for sure. I can help you clean this up too. I know that I was part of this. Do you have like a bucket? How do you want me to help?
Yeah, that seems like a pretty big child labor law violation, so why don't you just go ahead and head on down the road, and then we'll meet up with you in a couple of days.
Okay.
Is there a mechanic we might stop at for a minute?
Maybe. What kind of problems you got?
Several.
What kind of vehicle is it?
Humvee.
You got one of those military trucks? No, we ain't got anything for that out here. I mean, we can take a look at it, but I don't have any replacement parts.
All right.
Mechanic too?
What's that?
I said, you're a mechanic too?
Oh, I'm not a mechanic, but I know that we don't have anything to work on Humvees out here. I've barely seen one of those driving out on the road.
Rosie goes up to her
That's a
dad.
shot.
Let's get you back in the car, Dad. We have some stuff to help you feel better. We just got to get you resting.
Hell, I got whiskey in the car. I know that.
Ugh, not whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Also, I'm holding these pain pills. You only get them when I give them to you.
Ooh.
One of the doctors comes over. Actually, it's the veterinarian comes over to John and says, "Hey, man, don't drink too much of that whiskey. You're going to thin your blood. And you might be bleeding out again. So let's just take it easy. You're just going to take some of these pills. I've heard they're really non-habit forming, so you shouldn't be addicted to them. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes."
That sounds right.
Now, Rosie's starting to sound more like her mother every day. That's good for me.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have everybody get back in the car, roll back to the safe house, and hunker down for a minute. We're going to conclude this session, Buddy, unless you have something else you wanted to add to it.
I just wanted to ask how everyone would feel, since I have the least amount of damage, if they felt that they needed me around, or if they felt that it would be best that I, also since I don't have demons like looking for me specifically, if I took the car back to Wimberley to see if I couldn't get some more holy water and or relics and or other
Car repairs. Probably I wouldn't go for anything intense. Maybe just grab some holy water and do like a little quick mechanic stop maybe, but I wouldn't go for anything like suspicious.
Other than driving into town with a Humvee that's ripped apart, asking for holy water.
Fair. That's fair.
Fair. All right, Jim, you make a good point.
Here's the thing. I know the father of the Catholic Church. I mean, he's another guy in my bowling league. He's one of my contacts that I keep regular. If you want me to, I can give him a call and let him know that you're going, and not to ask a whole lot of questions. All I would ask is what I usually throw him. If I do have somewhere to ask for him, is I usually throw him a 6-pack. He may be celibate and does this whole thing, but it doesn't mean he can't enjoy himself, which is what he does on Wednesdays. So, one thing, buddy, you actually could do for me is that, we've heard about these death cults, but I imagine, Rosie's a young girl. You mean to tell me that there isn't, a light side? Is there any sort of group that helps these people out? Is it just us?
What, like the Jedi?
Well, there's the... Oh God, Knights of the Round. What is it? Knights
The Knights Templar.
Templar.
Oh yeah,
Dad,
no. See, I thought
Dad,
that was
you
a joke.
literally gave me that book. Did you not read it? Is that why you gave it to me?
Yeah, I mean, shit. It was just gaining dust on my shelf. I figured I'd give somebody a chance at it.
Okay.
Be back before dark, buddy.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
So we will break here at this point. We are going back to the safe house. Buddy is going elsewhere to do weird buddy shenanigans. And then when we meet again, we will be streaming again in 2 weeks on that Monday. It looks like it's going to be Monday the 18th. So we look forward to seeing you back here, and we appreciate you watching our first session. And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody.
Not your buddy pal.